Stinky? Where's my Stinky? Ah, yeah, we're pop up the shot. What's up, people? Is anybody home? We're back with this chick. Let's see, she's gone through a couple people. She started a campaign against the dude.
Yeah.
For a bunch of stuff because he was scamming, but then that turned into he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
That went from suspected to accused to
alleged,
known,
yeah.
right? To not even putting an adjective before it anymore. Now
Yeah.
it's just a pedophile
100%.
or sexual predator. It's not known or accused anymore.
Mhm.
You know, even though the evidence has remained the same the whole time, it's gone through all those different figures. And then it went to Hunter,
Mhm.
and then from Hunter now it's gone to Destiny, and now Destiny's the one.
Now Destiny's still not what she's got an issue with.
So it seems more and more like this, like she's just trying to start shit
Yeah.
to like gain attention, I guess.
But she doesn't like drama.
No, but she doesn't like drama. Her content's about guns and stuff like that, but yet her
I
last
have
5 or
not
6 videos have been about this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
about drama with other content creators.
Mhm.
It's pretty funny to me. I think I tried it. What's up, Grant? So we'll watch this one and see where that goes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's nice. All right, so where is the intro? You're in the thing?
Yep.
This
Be
is
able to see
psychosis.
it.
You're being psychotic. Okay, you're
Why
talking
is this your new favorite word? I've never even
because
heard you say
I'm
this
starting to
before.
notice more that when I talk with people, they can't engage with the conversation,
What up,
and you're
Brandon?
doing this really fucking annoying.
All right, so already in her own intro, which again, I say this every time we watch a video, I fucking hate this whole intro thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's like they do that with television shows and you ruin the show, like you ruin what's going to happen in the show, and you're highlighting your best part. I guess for them, it's the idea of let's show them the best parts, then they'll stick around through the whole thing so they can hear what happened with the
Yeah.
best parts. But to me, it's like, let's show them the best parts. Now, why even watch the video? We just saw the best part, right? Like, but anyways, I hate that they do this. But already in the intro, you see how she's framing it for him to be angry person. Oh, you called me psychotic. But even in the intro, he explains why he's getting angry, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's funny that she puts that in the intro, like basically showing why he's getting pissed off.
Thing where instead of answering a question, as soon as I ask you, like, do you think that 1 + 1 = 2? You go,
You're
well,
doing
1
this
+
annoying
1
thing
could
by
have this
calling
mathematical
me
property where,
psychotic, so.
other things happen, and I live in California, and, I pay all these taxes, and you're like, you're saying a whole bunch of random shit that has nothing to do with the question I'm asking.
And my guess, I watched that a while ago, so I don't remember. But my guess is that she did that over and over again, and that's like we started getting
That
more
was
and more
now,
annoyed
like,
at
yeah,
it, right?
I'm
That's the
just
point
better.
where he finally was like, "Oh my god," pretty pissed. Often Chris are a bit staticky. You see, that was that noise I was talking about. I don't know what to do with that though. I think the mic just does that. I think it just has static to it. Why does it do that?
Oh,
You hear it? Why does it do that?
It does sound.
Let me mute it for a second. It's hard to know. I see it moving a lot. Like, why is it moving so much? What is it picking up? It's quiet. Yeah, I keep hearing like fumbling, but we're not even fumbling. Like, what's the... Yeah. I don't know how that. I don't know. That sucks. I guess that's been the problem. I guess this whole time has been that mic, which is weird because it's a very good mic. I don't understand. It should be a good mic. I don't understand why it does that. I don't know if it's a problem that I have with my settings. Let me see what happens if I have filters on this too. I thought maybe that would help. Maybe that's the problem. It's probably worse now, right? Look how it's just like always on.
The static goes in a little bit when we're talking, but
Yeah, it's just constantly blasting now. That's so weird. Oh my god.
my voice is so
Yeah, I don't know. I have to add like filters for this just to be able to cut out all the static. And then once I do that though, then we're choppy because I have to do all this shit to cut out the static. Yeah, I don't know what else we can do. Hello? Oh, shit. Yeah, now it's worse now. I don't even know what I did. Hello? No. Yeah, I don't know. It's even worse. I don't even know how to stop it. It's like messing with the filters just made it worse. I don't know. I had it set up pretty easily. The best I could, I guess. Now it's even worse. Hello? Hello? Yeah, but it's like... Yeah, I don't know. Now when I talk, it's just static. Yeah, I don't even know. It's better, but when I talk, you hear it, and then when I don't talk, you don't hear it, because the filter's cutting it out, but you still hear it when I talk. Well, I guess we're gonna have to deal with this. I guess at some point we're gonna have to buy a new... My fear of buying a new mic is I'm gonna spend all this money on a new mic and then still have the same problem, and I don't know what the problem is, and then maybe it has to do with something I'm doing. What could cause that? Like, I don't even understand how a mic could be defective in that way to do that. So it's like, I feel like it's something I'm doing wrong, or have wrong in the setup. I don't know. Like, why is there constant noise? It's really quiet.
Yeah.
There's really no reason for it to do that. Different. All right, well, I guess we'll continue with this, and we'll just do it like this for now. Okay. Try to get a new mic soon, and hope that works.
Hey guys, I'm back with another little drama video for you today. Unfortunately, I find drama with other creators to be counterproductive, especially considering the situation.
Yeah, so it's
I
funny.
got
She's talking about how it's counterproductive, how this drama is counterproductive for content creators, but yet she has not been able to stay out of drama at all for the last like couple months.
going on with this child predator that I've been trying to bring down.
The child predator
really just
we
seems
started
like
off as a suspected child predator to an accused child predator, which she's the one accusing them of that, and then to a known child predator to just a child predator now.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird that that's gone through that motion like that without any change in evidence or anything.
No more.
that deserves more signal boosting than some creator who's attacking me online. But I do have
But it hasn't gotten more signal boosting, right?
to make an exception from time to time when I feel a
I have
creator
to make an exception from time to time, like my last 5 videos that I did, minus one that was like a Valentine's Day video she did with a friend that they talked about like relationships.
Yeah.
Besides that, like her last 4 or 5 videos have to do with
creator is saying things about me that are maybe untrue or leveling accusations about me, making hateful videos, etc. At some point, it does need to be addressed, especially when these are larger creators who are putting this out to a much larger audience than mine. I'm sure this is going to be a spicy video and probably one that's quite contentious because it's about Destiny, the Twitch streamer, not the game. And I'd like to remind everybody that in my community, we do not condone hate or harassment or any kind of that behavior, trolling or anything like that towards anybody, unless they're child sex predators. Then, you know, like, have at it. And after this video, I plan on doing a lot more content that's more on theme with my brand. So we'll be talking about my work as a private investigator, some of the exciting things I've done, some of the safety tips that I've learned, etc. I'll also have some gun gear and shooting videos for you, so be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. And that reminds me that we have a new affiliate sponsor today, Big Daddy Unlimited. Big Daddy Unlimited is an online and retail store with amazing deals on guns, gear, and ammo. I know that this is going
I don't like drama, and I don't condone that in my community. But here's an ad to this drama video that I made.
to drive a lot of his community members, which I will call DGG for now. I know that this video
I
is
will
going
call
to...
DGG. That's what everyone
exactly
calls
what
it.
it's
Like,
called.
you're not special for calling it that. You didn't come up
Drive
with
a
a
lot.
short abbreviation for it.
lot of haters, a lot of trolls into the comments, into Twitter, on YouTube, on Reddit. I understand that I'm basically putting a target on my back by making this video, and I'm sure you'll see some of that in the comments section, so just be aware. There are some amazing people who I've met from Destiny's
She wants to
community
put that
who are
target
actually
in her back. She does it all the time. Like, she literally in this video, like later on, talks about how I blocked him and wanted nothing to do with him. And then she sees something that he said about her through someone else and then starts this whole thing again. And it's like, if you were done with this, just be done with it and ignore whenever he says anything about you. But you don't. It's because you don't want to.
I'm not
a part of my community now. So this in no way is meant to generalize every single person who watches Destiny. I used to be a big fan of Destiny. I used to watch all of his YouTube and Twitch streams up until pretty recently, actually. But there definitely is a significant subset of Destiny's community that is extremely toxic, extremely combative online, and in some ways harmful to the people that they choose to attack. So what led me to make this video? Well, yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't know what day it is. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I hope that you are enjoying true love, or at least have a cat or a dog to keep you company today. A couple days ago, I found out that Destiny had leaked our DMs in full. This is something that I really think is a shitty move that shitty people do. If it's publicly said on Twitter or Twitch, that's one thing, because that's a public
shitty people do shitty things, which is releasing DMs. So releasing DMs or showing your private DMs, she's saying it should be already known that DMs are private. It should never be leaked. It's just shitty behavior for you to show DMs, right?
Yeah.
Discourse, and you're opening yourself up to criticism if you say things on a public platform. But anyone who leaks full private DMs that were sent with an expectation of privacy to a large hateful community like DGG can be is, in my opinion, just exposing themselves as complete snakes, performative, two-faced, and low integrity. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Well, what if I need to prove an accusation wrong? And that's fair. Leaking 1 or 2 messages to prove a point, if they're not really private messages or don't have any personal information.
So it's shitty behavior, unless you have to prove a point, and then it's okay to do that shitty behavior, I guess. I wonder why she's making that distinction, that it's okay to do it if you need to prove a point. But even though that's weird, if that person has nothing to do with the point you're proving or isn't arguing you. It's like, if I get into an argument with you, can I go to someone else and they're like, oh, you're doing this, and I should go and reveal your private DMs to that person because they made some accusation, even though it's not you making the accusation? That sounds weird. It doesn't make sense.
I can totally understand why that might be necessary. But just downloading 2 years of private conversations to an Imgur and throwing it out into the world without any redaction or even just looking through it to see if there's parts that maybe are irrelevant.
But how does she know? How does she know he didn't look through it before doing it? She's just saying, oh, just releasing it without redacting anything or even looking through it. How does she know he didn't look through it? Maybe he looked through it and said, well, there's nothing here. Out of these 2 years of me and her DMing, there's nothing here that's serious. I'm going to put it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does she know that?
Could be removed. That's a shitty thing to do. Now, as a general rule, I try very hard.
Now, I agree. Releasing DMs to the public is a shitty thing to do. And I think most of the times if you do that, it's probably because they did it first.
Yeah.
Or they're accusing you of something and lying, and your DMs with that person proves that they're lying,
Not to say things in DMs that I don't expect to be fully leaked to the entire internet. And that's just part of my general
So when she DMs things, she doesn't expect for them to be leaked to the internet, right? So let's say that also would extend to the person that she's DMing with. That person also would respond to her, not expecting for DMs to be leaked to the internet.
Trustworthiness that stems from people like Destiny existing. But I feel like looking at the leaked conversation, I did let my guard down a couple of times and say some things to him that were perhaps a bit personal that I didn't expect to be shared with the world, and that I really do not appreciate. So why did Destiny leak the DMs? I think it's because on Twitch, on my last stream, I called him a performative, two-faced loser. And I stated that I understood to an extent where people like Anna come from when they're talking about him being manipulative in DMs. And I said that Destiny is the kind of person who could be very friendly.
Manipulative in DMs. Remember, even like, all right, so people here probably haven't watched the whole Anna thing, but the whole Anna thing is where she's saying he's being manipulative. It's the way he talks to her. He's still like really nice to her and just sends heart emojis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all the while he does that, he's being very straightforward and saying, I'm only interested in you in this way. Like, I'm not interested in, you know, I'm never leaving my girlfriend. I'm not leaving who's now his wife. I'm not leaving my wife. We have an open relationship, but I'm not leaving her. So that means we're never going to have a romantic relationship in that way, right? So I don't see that as being manipulative. I think that's very open and honest. You know what I'm saying? And if he's doing these things and sending you hearts and stuff like that, then you should read it with what's been already been determined, right?
Yeah.
Established.
And flirty even behind the scenes in private DMs, while then turning around and publicly smashing you all over Twitter. And I really think that some people focused way too heavily on my words where I said flirty, okay? I never accused Destiny of trying to get with me or be anything more than friends with me.
So
To
then
me,
what's
and
the
I'm a
problem?
boomer, so maybe my
So
work.
then what's the problem with him being flirty? You could be flirty with friends, that's
Yeah.
fine. Or you could be flirty with people who aren't want to get with you. Why even bring that up unless your point is he's trying to get with you?
Do more
Words were misinterpreted. But when I said flirty, I just meant like sending heart emojis, saying stuff like, oh my God, I love you, and things like that, which
But it's funny, she says, sending stuff like, oh my God, I love you, which doesn't happen. He does say that to her, but like in a really sarcastic way. He shows it later, and it's obvious that he's being sarcastic. More like you said, couldn't he say, oh my God, I love you, and it's in a way like, leave me alone?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I love you, but, you know, leave me alone. I don't care about this or something. So it's really funny.
although possibly meant in a completely friendly way, are really intended to charm someone. And I believe that
To charm someone with sarcasm like that. I think maybe there's where I think maybe she doesn't have a good understanding of sarcasm, and when he's being sarcastic, she thinks he's like being nice and flirty, but he's really being sarcastic. And she shows the DMs with her. Now most of it seems like he doesn't want to be bothered, like he doesn't care as much. He's like, whatever, like. You know. That's it. I was thinking maybe if I shut off this mic, it would.
Destiny uses this technique of charming
Whatever.
people
You can't really
in
do
order to
anything about
gain
it.
their trust. So maybe the word flirty was misinterpreted by some people, but when the word's not attached to any real accusation, then I don't think that's something that somebody like Destiny would consider severe enough to warrant leaking 2 years of private DMs
But see,
over.
so now what this sounds like is a thing of severity. It's like
Yeah.
she went over and slapped somebody, so they came back and punched her, and now she's crying about, how could dare they punch me? I only slapped them, you know. So it's like, you're not, just because you're attacking somebody doesn't mean that they should attack you with the equal attack, right? Like, so I only released this much of the DMs, so then should he have released that much of the DMs that were sent prior to the ones you sent, and then
Yeah.
that would be okay?
Yeah.
Or would you still be bitching about it, you know? Like, I don't think the issue here is how much of the DMs he released. I think the issue is there's a boundary. The boundary's solid. Don't release DMs. That's
Right.
it. It's not, don't release DMs except for these last few DMs that you sent. That's not the boundary. She said it herself. Releasing DMs is shitty behavior. She didn't say releasing DMs except for this situation, shitty behavior. Later on, she added that on there. But initially, what she said was releasing DMs, period, is shitty behavior. So now, she released some DMs to prove a point to not Destiny. Some random viewer of Destiny is arguing with her on her own stream. So what does she do on her own stream is open up her DMs with Destiny, show those DMs to prove her point. And then what happens? She bitches when Destiny releases all the
Everything.
DMs.
Yeah.
Most likely because he saw a boundary being crossed and said, oh yeah, you want to release some of our DMs? Well, I'll release them all then, right? And now
you
she's
can't
bitching
do
about that.
everything.
And like I said, this is just like she walked up, spit in someone's face, and then that person comes back and smacks her Backhanders,
Like, how
hands
could
her.
you do that?
Wow, and now she's crying and playing victim. How could they have come and hit me? I can't believe they hit me. And it's like, but didn't you just say you spit on them? Yeah, but that doesn't mean they can hit me now. Like, why not? Like, it kind of does, you know, it kind of does mean that. Or it kind of seems like you're instigating stuff and then playing victim when they attack, retaliate harder, you know? That's kind of how retaliation works. It keeps getting harder and escalates more and more. Now she's making a video playing victim and trying to paint them out to be this evil villain, you know, in a situation that she created and she started. Which is a pattern here. It's the same thing she did with Hunter. It's the same thing she did with that guy that she calls a pedophile. She called the police on him. She's gotten him banned from all social media, started a campaign, consistently tells everyone that he's a pedophile and sexual predator without any proof. When she started this with the proof that she had with the evidence, which is very shady evidence, but could possibly, and then, you know, she started off with saying possible sex, possible predator to accused predator to known predator, and she keeps making it more and more, and now she's just straight up calling him a sexual predator. She's not saying that it's, you know, supposed, it's not saying it's expected, you know, suspected, none of those things. She's straight up just calling him. So this is a pattern with her. She starts small, she creates the problems, and then she exaggerates the problem to make it seem like all I did was this little tiny thing, and now it's blown out of proportion, and I'm being attacked, and I'm the victim here. When she's the one who starts all these things. It's a pattern. It's been 3 people that she's gone through with this.
In addition to not making any accusations, when I said friendly and flirty, I showed people exactly what I meant and told them exactly what I meant. So it's not like I left it up to people's interpretation and the rumor mill started or anything like that. And I'll admit that I am kind of making some assumptions here and lacking a bit of context on exactly why he leaked the DMs. I know that on my own stream, some of his trolls were in my chat, and I was telling people that I had told Destiny basically to fuck off and never talk to me again.
All right, but has he talked to you again without you saying anything? Like, you know what I'm saying? You said, fuck, I've never talked to him again because his audience was trolling her. So, because his audience was trolling her, she got so frustrated she never wants to talk to Destiny again. Now remember, this isn't Destiny didn't do this. This is the audience doing this.
Yeah.
Which is funny to me that she's taking it out on him.
Which is the same thing she did to the Hunter. The Hunter's people talking, like, responding to her. And the same thing she did to the guy that she had the original issue with, the Ring Plus guy. Because she thinks that everybody is that. Ring Plus.
Yeah, exactly. She thinks everybody's that guy. This is proven. Hold on. This is better. At least if it's going to be staticky, at least it's pointing at you. But this is proven by the time she went on Gothic's channel to do a live interview and stuff, and Gothic's for Gothic's to promote her going after this dude that she has very little proof of being this thing that she's spreading about him. But she goes on there, and Chris is in the chat saying stuff like, oh, but, you know, what's the proof that he's doing this? What's the proof of that? Literally asking her proof, not trolling, not saying, this chick's a bitch, don't listen to her. Yeah. Just basically asking the questions that seem off about her, which is true. And everybody should be allowed to do this. If you have an accusation of somebody, other people should be allowed to come and question you about this accusation, ask you for proof, for evidence. The person that you're accusing themselves should also be allowed a platform to defend themselves against these accusations. She doesn't want this. Anybody who platforms this guy, or even attempts to, or even makes any reference to giving this guy a platform to try to defend himself against what she's saying, she says, she gets angry, makes videos, and tweets about, this person is promoting my harasser. Yeah. This person, you know, this person harasses me, and you're going to have them on, as if there's an expectation of loyalty with these streamers who aren't friends with her. Like, this was her problem with Hunter. I made a whole video about Hunter. This guy, my harasser, was going to pay you to make a video, and you were going to do it. And I'm like, why is the expectation that Hunter wouldn't give this guy a chance to defend himself? Yeah. Like, what? They're not him and BXBullet aren't on good
Good
terms.
friends or anything.
Like they're not friends. Why is there an expectation for Hunter to be loyal to her and not give her harasser, what she's calling her harasser, the ability to defend himself against her accusations? But she doesn't want that. There's a reason why she doesn't want
Yeah.
that. There's a reason, it seems, why maybe she doesn't, or maybe it's a subconscious thing. Maybe she doesn't realize, but the reason is that she doesn't want him to have the ability to defend himself against what she's saying. But she goes on this Gothic's channel. Chris is in the chat asking these questions, and what does she do instantly? Go, you guys, anybody wants to, go to Gothic's channel, GOTHIX, and watch the stream with BXBullet. Chris was banned from the chat, so you're not going to see what she was saying in the chat, but you will see in the video a point where BXBullet says, "There's my harasser in the chat, that Chris person, that's my harasser." Now, she doesn't state this as, "That might be my harasser." This is where I say where her language changes a lot.
Yeah.
And her language goes to a point where she finds things to be absolutely true without knowing they're true.
Yeah.
And this is why she accuses this guy of being a sexual predator, because, yes, she does have screen caps of him saying maybe some inappropriate jokes around younger
Young people. Yeah.
maybe saying inappropriate things around younger people, but is he saying it specifically to those people? No. Do we have proof that he knew that he was saying that around these young people? Maybe not. He knows there's younger people in the server, but people slip or forget,
Yeah.
and don't think those things are possible. But to her, those things went from him maybe grooming. I remember when she first wrote this in a blog, she wrote that he was possibly grooming children.
Yeah.
But later on, that from him possibly grooming children has turned into him being a sexual predator.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
No
And
doubt.
this is where I say her language changes. It starts from her suspecting that this guy's a sexual predator to him now definitely being one. And being a known one. Everybody knows this guy is that.
Yeah.
But the evidence hasn't changed.
No.
She hasn't added more evidence to make this a known thing now, or to make it a solid case. It's the same amount of evidence. And so why is it becoming more a solid thing with the same amount of evidence? It doesn't make sense, But this is how she operates. She takes things to be true. Just like when she saw you in the chat, she said, "There's my harasser." It wasn't, "That might be my harasser." It kind of seems like you might, no, it's like it is. And now the audience thinks that. Now, when you look at the chat now, you're not going to see Chris on there anymore, what she said. But what you're going to see is a whole bunch of people saying, "Chris, what? The harasser, stop harassing her, you're blah, blah." So now you have an audience who believes that this guy that she calls her harasser, and she says is constantly harassing her, makes sock accounts to come after her, is trolling her, this and that. "I can't go on Twitter without blah, blah, any video I make is this, that." I don't, now it's almost impossible to believe that to be true.
Yeah.
Because what it seems like is anybody who questions this narrative that she's made about this guy is this guy to her.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I go to this video right now and put on the bottom, "Hey, where's the proof that you say this guy is a sexual predator? Where have you shown that he is being a predator and stalking people, children, and grooming them? Can you show me the evidence?" She's going to go, "That guy Elf
That
Benny
guy
in the
right
chat,
there.
that's the harasser."
Yeah.
But so how do we know this guy's ever harassed her then? You know what I'm saying? Or ever made any sock accounts? She just assumes any account that's not him that's questioning her is him.
Yeah.
So how can we believe that? And this goes back to the same pattern again. She does this over and over again. How can we believe anything she says then? You know what I'm saying? Without any solid proof. She's lost credibility, in fact, now. And anytime she comes out with something like this, I'm going to always say, I need to see some solid proof, because this chick seems to do this all the time, that she says things are definitely true, and then you look at the evidence and you're like, I'm not so sure this is true,
This really sounds. This
pretty
reminds
shocking.
me of like women that if you're in like a really bad like custody like dispute or something like that, someone like BXBullet possibly could be one of those women that fabricates a whole bunch of stuff just to get like no custody agreed upon for like the father of the child or something like that, or domestic violence making up like a bigger thing for domestic violence. Like
You might be
this
right.
really sounds like as if it's like a spiteful ex coming after the ex guy or something.
Yeah, it's very
like that.
strange.
But this is just somebody that scammed her out of free energy drinks. It's the only thing that I've so far seen. So I'm sorry about that. And then says that he's been like been sexually inappropriate in DMs with her and wasn't being professional. It's like you were flirted with.
But I mean, it's
That's
the
all I
same
can-
thing with Destiny, where she says Destiny's flirting with her.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
from what she's shown, yeah, I know the audio's terrible. I can't
I'm
do
sorry.
anything about it. I feel like I have to type it on the screen or something. It's in the
Yeah.
chat. Like if you look up the chat, a few messages
It's gotten,
up,
you know what?
it says,
It's gotten
my mic
better.
is fucked. I don't know what I can do about it. If you have a new mic you would like to send me, go for it. But until then, I can't really do anything about it.
Believe it or not, the audio's improved from
Yeah.
when we started. So we're sorry. We'll be better next.
Or we have to stream separately because our mics only work separately. But
Separately.
your mic picks
Yeah.
everything up, so you're going to hear me twice if she uses her mic and
Yeah.
we use each individual mic. This is the only mic that I can use that everybody that we can hear us both talk. And I don't even understand what the problem is. I don't understand how a mic can have this issue. No other mic has this issue, right? So I don't know. It's a weird issue that the mic has. I don't know how it could possibly have that. Know what's wrong with it.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't even make sense. I don't even know how hardware can have a problem like that. That sounds like a software problem, but I'm not having a software problem. Or like a settings problem. Or what settings would that do? I mean, I could buy one. It's not going to arrive right now, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's nothing I can
No,
do
we'll
about
have
it.
we'll
Sounds
have
like a broken wire, but I just switched the wires too.
Yeah, we even put a different wire.
Yeah. I just switched the wires and it's still doing the same thing. So it's not the wires. It has to be the hardware itself, right? Like, what else could be a problem?
And I feel like I'm shouting. But
Could that be a driver issue? Maybe I need a new driver for it? Does anybody out there know stuff about this? Does this sound come from there being a driver issue? In fact, the only reason you can hear me is because I put filters on the OBS to block out all
Yeah.
the sound.
It sounded like a real wind
Possibly,
tunnel.
yeah, when I take out all the filters, you can't even hear our voices. It's just tons of crackling. So this is the best I could do with my filters and stuff. But if anybody knows that could this be a driver issue, I really don't know what could be causing this issue. I'm a great driver. I doubt it.
We're driving actually right now.
I gotta ask. I'll ask Devin about that. In the future. I'm an excellent driver. But yeah, it's a pattern with this chick too that she seems to kind of assume things, but her assumptions are fact. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so Destiny sends her a little heart emoji. She's like, "Oh, he likes me.
He
He's
likes
flirting with me." Now that's a fact to her. When maybe it was done sarcastically, maybe for him it's just a thing of like, yeah,
Oh,
you know.
You know what? It is that because Destiny's like that person that's like, I'm just gonna respond and match your energy
Yeah.
back to you.
Yeah, so if
she's
she's being
all
sweet,
flirty
he's
and-
being sweet
Yeah.
too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you look at a lot of the DMs that they have together, it kind of seems like he's more I don't care than anything.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. You know, like just kind of quick answer. She's leaving huge paragraphs and he's just like, oh, that
Wow.
sucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. You know what I'm saying? Like
Shit.
he's really just kind of like
Yeah.
brushing her off. And she doesn't realize it and she thinks they have a friendly relationship. But I'm looking at those DMs as a third party, and I don't see a friendly relationship. I see a relationship of
Get
you're
me
kind of
out of
annoying
here.
and keep talking to him about things he doesn't care about, and
Yeah.
he's being courteous and saying like, "Oh yeah, that sucks. Okay," you know,
How do
but
I
he
end
really
this?
doesn't care.
How do I get off this ride?
And they were
Yeah, how do I get off of this?
I want
Yeah,
out.
wait. All right, so now she's playing other stuff with her.
implying that I was lying and telling me to show the DM where I said that to him. And in addition, they were
Right.
trying to
So someone else, not Destiny, is implying she's lying and wants to see the DMs.
Yeah.
So what does she do? She leaks her DMs with Destiny and then complains that Destiny leaked the DMs.
Yeah,
Like, what?
yeah.
You're the one who leaked the DMs. This is what I say. This is this general pattern with her. She starts shit and then gets
And then
angry
gets
that
mad.
people go along and play and retaliate.
Yeah.
confirm that Destiny and I were on friendly terms before. So I did open our DMs.
Also, internet might be a little different, especially with content creators. being on friendly terms doesn't mean you're friends.
Yeah.
Being on friendly terms doesn't mean that there's some sort of loyalty now. We've had these beefs in the past,
I was just thinking about
and
that.
I don't remember how this beef really happened, but I remember that there was some beef, and I think Billy Bong was involved, and this chick Carrie that used to be in this community, and she started a beef with somebody, and then was mad that like Billy and all these other people from the community weren't backing her up on it, but it was a stupid beef that they don't agree with.
It was nothing.
Yeah,
But she was
so it's like, yeah,
nothing.
we're cool, but I'm not gonna have this loyalty to you that you can go around, talk shit, and
Yeah.
cause problems, and now I have to back you up on that. We're not that cool.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have that kind of loyalty.
No.
Nor do we have the kind of loyalty that like somebody's gonna come to me, you know, who's an enemy of yours and talk shit or defend, like I said, defend their claims against you, and now there's a loyalty that, oh, this guy's harassing me, so you shouldn't have him on your channel. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like,
And get behind me, otherwise you're.
yeah, like why shouldn't I have him on my channel, huh? like why are we friends? That I'm gonna do that? That I'm like, no, you're not cool with one of my friends. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Briefly and showed just the most recent exchange that proved my point. There was nothing personal leaked or anything of that nature, just really showing the most recent exchange that we had. Hardly
She's
a
showing it herself, and just the most recent exchange you have, but she's scrolling through. This is multiple dates. This isn't just like a few, once or twice. You could see. Hold
leaked
on.
the DMs. I know that on my own stream, some of his
Like,
trolls were in my
she
chat,
doesn't explain
and
it.
I was
It's-
telling people that I had told Destiny basically to fuck off and never talk to me again. And they were implying that I was lying and telling me to show the DM where I said that to him. And in addition, they were
But
trying to
this seems like something she doesn't understand. She doesn't understand that people's audience aren't them.
Yeah.
Like, so, because she does this multiple times, and throughout this whole video, she talks about it multiple times, where she says, somebody from his audience did this, and his audience does that, and but you're taking it out on Destiny, what his audience is doing,
Yeah.
instead of just taking it out on that individual. So now she's using as an excuse, it was okay for me to leak the DMs between me and Destiny because someone from his audience was in my chat saying I was lying about something. So then I'm okay doing it. But when he does it, it's not
No,
okay.
it's right. Yeah.
But you violated
The agreement.
The agreement
of Don't
first.
share DMs.
because of one of his audience members, not because of him. That
Yeah.
doesn't excuse it, you know? If it was because of him, that's a different story. If he was accusing you of something publicly, and you're like, Destiny said this, I'm going to show our DMs that show that I'm not, you know, he's saying things to me in private and then
Yeah.
lying about it
Yeah.
publicly. That's a different story, you know? But that's not what was happening.
confirmed that Destiny and I were on friendly terms before. So I did open our DMs briefly.
Oh, and then
showed
the
just
accusation was that she was saying her and Destiny were on friendly terms before, and her reason for releasing these DMs is just to show that they were on friendly terms. That's not a good enough reason
No.
to reveal it. It's not like this is a lie that they're saying that you're lying that's like career ending, or, you know, like you're being accused of some horrible thing. The worst thing you're being accused of is saying that you're on friendly terms with somebody that you weren't. Like, who gives
Who
a
cares
shit?
about
Right?
that?
Like, if that's a big deal at all. A big enough deal for you to violate breaking this code that
Code
you're
of-
saying you
yeah.
had with somebody to not show DMs. And here you are showing the DMs with you and him.
just the most recent exchange that proved my point. There was nothing personal leaked or anything of that nature. Just really showing the most recent exchange that we
I
had.
mean,
Hard
technically something personal is being released. It's the personal messages you're sending back and forth
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you just explained
I don't know.
is something
Yeah.
personal. There's a personal understanding that this conversation is private and you're not allowed to show it to anybody, right? She just said that, and now she's saying, well, there's nothing personal on here. The DM itself is something personal.
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
between you two. You explained that earlier.
hardly a DM leak. So again,
It's
I'm
hardly
not
a
sure.
DM leak. It is a DM leak, though.
Yeah.
We're not. The violation isn't on a range. It isn't don't release DMs unless it's, you know, this minor, then it's okay. And then I can't release this bigger thing. It's don't release them at all. You know what I'm saying? Who are you? Did you have a conversation with Destiny to say where's the line in this? You know,
Yeah.
so you didn't. So the understanding is just don't leak DMs, right? Unless you've had a conversation of what's cool and what's not.
Yeah, yeah.
The
She
assumption
doesn't
should
have
be
that
don't leak any DMs, right? Weird that
That's
she
really
made the rule and then says, but the exception to the rule is also something I'm saying is also from my perspective.
Yeah.
That's doesn't work that way. What if Destiny didn't want you to release DMs at all? Didn't want you to show anyone him sending you heart emojis, you know what I'm saying? And you just showed that. What if, I mean, not that it could be him doing something nefarious. What if he was flirting with you outside of his girlfriend knowing and you just showed that and now his girlfriend's going to see he was sending you heart emojis and she's going to be like, well, why were you sending heart emojis? You're almost causing drama within his relationship.
Yeah.
Not even thinking about it. And this is where I say, from your perspective, this is barely a DM leak. It is a DM leak. From his perspective, you're releasing DMs where I'm sending you hearts that could possibly be me flirting with you, and now I'm getting in trouble with my wife. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's why it's called private. You don't know what's going on through his head, why he wants that private, as much as he doesn't know what's going on in your head about what you want private.
Yeah.
So he's not going to release any of it, no matter how small he thinks it is, because he doesn't know what you are perceiving as big or small, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what a normal human being would do. You would think of things from both sides. You wouldn't just think of your side. But from her side,
It's all about.
well, what I
Yeah.
released was nothing, no big deal. Yeah. You don't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Could have been. Yeah.
Weird.
What possessed Destiny to publish 2+ years of
So
personal
what could have
messages?
possessed them to publish over 2 years a message? Maybe the fact that you put out some stuff, like that you violated
Without
that. Maybe
making
that
any
was the point. Like, hey, you violated this and leaked some of the DMs. Guess what? Not all our DMs are public.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I find that to be a proper retaliation. I think that's about right. I don't see the problem there.
Attempt to redact.
I feel
some
like
of the
you
stuff.
did something that violated the code, and so therefore he said there's no code anymore. In fact, on top of her already saying that they're not even on good terms anymore, she said, "I don't want anything to do with you. I'm cutting you off for it. So basically, I don't like you. Stay away from me." And then here's some DMs I'm gonna leak of this guy that I just said I don't want anything to do with, and I hate him, and I want nothing to do with him. But I'm arguing with one of his fans in my audience that I'm gonna release our DMs to prove that we were on good terms.
And
Why?
You know
You don't
what?
want nothing to do with him. Stop talking about him.
which
you
is
know?
so funny because when you look in her, because she has to respond even though she says she's not going to respond. She does. She writes in her comment section for this video why she like shares these DMs, and it's once again her name that Hunter's given her, BX Backtrack. It's just so true to her, like that nickname, because she says it's for that she's talking to DGG trolls and saying that Destiny continued to be aggressive to him, to her, that Destiny is being aggressive to her. So that's what she's wanting to prove to the DGG trolls, that he's being aggressive to her. But then she says, "Oh, we're having a great conversation." So where was the aggressiveness coming in there? Because that she didn't prove any of that. She's just blowing up his DMs, and he's like, "Oh, that sucks,
Yeah.
man. Like, I'm really sorry to hear about that." And doesn't say anything back really at all. So it's weird.
Stuff he may think that I wouldn't want out there. I don't think any person would have any reason to do something like this aside from being a two-faced asshole. But the most ironic part
I
about
don't
all of this,
understand
and
why
I'm going to show
anybody
you
do this besides being a two-faced asshole.
Yeah.
So why would anybody reveal some of those DMs that you revealed with him sending you hearts and stuff without his
Yeah.
permission? What would you call somebody who did that?
Pretty asshole.
Yeah, pretty
Kind of
asshole.
asshole. Yeah.
Like, would it be cool? Let's say I was married and I was cheating with my wife, right? And I tell you privately, I send you texts privately saying, "Yeah, but I'm cheating on my wife. It's not going well. We're having problems. So I'm cheating on her. I feel bad about it. Whatever. And I show you that, and then you talk to somebody else, and you're telling them that you're friends with me, and they're saying, "No, you're not. No, you're not." And you're like, oh yeah, well, why would he tell me he's cheating on his wife if we're not friends, right? Like, does that make it okay to do that? You know,
Yeah.
because somebody was
Shared
questioning
personal
you.
information
Like,
with me.
yeah,
so
that doesn't
validates.
make it okay. Even though you just revealed a few things, it's still douchey for you to do that because you were arguing with someone else.
Yeah.
You know, like that doesn't make it okay. And it's weird that she justifies it that she's doing it, but then him doing it back in retaliation is wrong. And this is where I'm saying she calls this guy her harasser, the other guy. That's the guy, that guy's my harasser, when in truth, she's the one harassing him.
Yeah.
She's the one who called the cops on him. She's the one who goes on Twitter and starts campaigns to have his local police department and the detectives there tagged on Twitter about him.
Yeah.
She's the one who has all his accounts, multiple flags be put on it for the same thing, and you know, oh, we flagged them thousands of times. You're harassing him. You're
Yeah.
justifying your harassment of him, but then criticizing his harassment of you, and
Yeah.
that's in return. That's
For
in
what she's
retaliation.
doing. Yeah.
It's weird, you know, like
Do this today
like
in the
she was
video.
criticizing Hunter, saying Hunter tweets about her all day and makes videos about her all day. All his videos and all his tweets about her are in response to her tweeting about him and making videos about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're the one doing that. That's what I'm saying. Almost everything she does is projection. It's so weird.
Is that when Destiny leaked his DMs, most people read them and said that was a big nothing burger. There was really nothing spectacular that
So-
happened.
Again, here's another thing she's just contradicted herself. Earlier she said Destiny released the DMs for no reason and didn't even look through them to see if there was anything personal or bad in it.
Yeah.
She doesn't know if he looked through it.
Right.
But now she's saying everybody who's looked at it says it's a big nothing burger. And she's agreeing with that. It's nothing. So how do you know he didn't look through it, see that it was big nothing on there, and release it?
That it was nothing.
There's nothing really. If there was something bad on there, maybe he wouldn't have, or maybe he would have edited it, cut it out, redacted it, and released the rest. Maybe, but you guys never had any conversation with DMs that either of you would be embarrassed of, or have released anything personal that you wouldn't want out there. So you release a little bit of the DMs, and he said, "Well, if she thinks it's cool to release DMs, why not release all of
Sharing
it?"
it all.
You look through it, there wasn't anything too terrible in there, and said, here you go. I guess it's not a big deal then, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly the same. Her releasing those little bit of DMs because she looked through it, she said, there's nothing personal here, there's nothing wrong. Well, guess what? The 2 years that you guys been talking, you're admitting now it's a big nothing burger. There's no, so then what's the problem?
Yeah.
You know, he's doing the same thing you did. There's no problem here. It'd be different if it was
There in
like,
that
it'd be
conversation.
different if it was like my address was on there, or that the school my kid goes to was on there. You know, it'd be different if it was that.
Pictures or
But none of
something,
those
yeah.
things were on there, right? So what's the problem? If it's okay for you to release some DMs to prove a point, because there's nothing personal or wrong in there, then why isn't it okay for him?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But when I read the conversation, something definitely stood out.
But
to
this
me.
is her complaint. Then she switches this complaint to being about, you know what stood out to me about those DMs though? All the times I asked them to signal boost, you know, going after this sexual predator guy,
Yeah.
and he ignored it. And it's like, yeah, but like
There's
your
nothing
cause has to
here.
be his
Like,
cause. He
yeah.
doesn't care about your cause. I mean, we've looked through that as a third party, and remember when we first started looking into this, we were looking at it from her side.
Yeah.
We were hearing her story, her telling us her story, and instantly we were like, there's something
There's
so
so-
shady
this is
here.
so
There's
weird.
something not right about what she's saying here.
Yeah.
I want to see proof of this. Then we saw the video. That was the blog we read 1st. Then we saw her video on it and saw the proof she posted. And we were like, this is a big
It all
nothing.
looks like nothing.
There's hardly anything here. And we've seen it go from her explaining it in the beginning, saying that she called the police on this guy and all this other stuff, to her no longer saying she's called the police on this guy, just basically making herself out to be
Yeah.
the victim, and just saying this guy harasses me and all
I
this,
don't know why.
and all because I caught him being a pedophile
Yeah.
and this that, which is not true. You know,
Yeah.
like you didn't catch anything. Maybe he is a scammer. That's the part that I'm like, that could be true.
Could be true. Yeah.
But she's not even talking about him being a scammer anymore. And her main thing is to say that this guy is her harasser and a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Basically, that's
Yeah.
it. She doesn't talk about him being a scammer anymore, barely. Like, you know, she'll bring it up, but it's really a footnote in the whole story of this. Yeah, the big part of the story is that he's a child predator. He's a harassment of her, and that he took a picture of her child nude to, to blackmail her with it, but never talks about how it got to that, or what she's done that might be wrong or anything, or how it led to these situations. But as you see, the pattern here is don't listen to what she's saying, or maybe listen to what she's saying, because almost every time she admits that she started it, like almost every time, and then plays it as if she's the victim, even though she started it every time.
Yeah.
The largest platforms on Twitch, and certainly in the Twitch political sphere, repeatedly ignored me or blew me off when I came to him asking for help exposing Matt Brockett, the child predator who was terrorizing the Just Chatting community. That whole story, by the way, is
like
in
I said,
the 2 previous videos.
If Destiny looked through the Google Drive thing that she goes through in her videos, and that other guy that she showed the video of, and sees the evidence that she's saying what it is, I do not blame him for not wanting anything to do with this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either, because it looks like you're just kind of screwing someone's life without being sure.
Yeah.
And I don't play that game. Like, I would want to be, this is due process, right? Like, you got to be sure. You can't go around calling somebody a sexual predator throughout the internet.
Yeah.
Trying to get that signal boosted with Destiny, like the biggest YouTubers, the biggest Twitch streamers, to the point where she's asking people for, do you guys know any documentarians?
Yeah, this should be on Netflix.
She wants a Netflix documentary to come out about her busting this guy on being a sexual predator, when she has barely any evidence of him being that. There's very little evidence of him being that. It's really shoddy evidence. Would never fly in court. In fact, this all started with her compiling this evidence and calling the police on this guy, and then wondering how he knows. And I'm like, you know how he knows? I know how he knows she called the police on him, because the police investigated him. They probably called him and said, hey, we're getting reports that you're a child sexual predator. And they probably investigated this dude, saw it was a big nothing, and was like, oh man, they're like, sorry we bothered you or whatever. And now the cops ignore her. She says that she still constantly contacts his local police department. She's put their Twitter, which is basically doxing the guy, mind you. She put his local police department, the city that he lives in, their police department's Twitter, said Matt lives in this city, this is his local police for his jurisdiction. Put 2 of the detectives that she spoke to about
their
names and Twitter on there, and tells her audience to constantly tag and tweet these guys and say, hey, why aren't you investigating? And then you see in the replies of the thread that they're tagging these guys and saying, hey, why aren't you? So this child predator can use a picture of her 4-year-old to blackmail him. You guys aren't going to do anything. Most likely they're not doing anything because they investigated it and nothing is illegal.
This whole situation has made her reevaluate the law enforcement. She no longer has any faith in the legal system or the police, basically, because she knows she has all the investigations. She'll throw that she's a private investigator in your face, and really she's just like a professional stalker, if you really want to get down to it. But she thinks that she has all the details, and that the cops are just doing a bad job on this, when there is nothing here to prove that this guy did anything to be thrown in jail for it. She's just not letting it go now.
Yeah, it's also a complete lack of self-awareness. She's called the police. She's contacted Twitter. She's contacted Discord. She's tries to get big YouTubers to amplify this and all that, and she doesn't understand why it doesn't get attention. Why haven't the cops busted? Why haven't they done anything about this? Why hasn't Twitch? Why hasn't Discord? At no point does it cross her mind that, wait, could I be wrong? I keep reporting him to all these things. I keep showing all these people all this evidence, and they don't see it as being as big a deal as me. Could I be wrong on this? There's no self-awareness or self-reflection for her to be like, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm making too much of a big deal of this and seeing it as worse than I am. But she doesn't do that. She thinks, instead, she makes a conspiracy about it and says Twitch is, not doing this because of blah. As she was saying, I think in one of the videos she was saying Twitch doesn't do anything because she's a smaller streamer. If I had been a bigger streamer, then blah blah blah. And it's like it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with him not violating any terms of service. In fact, you were the one that violated the terms of service, and he was bringing it to their attention.
Yeah. Twitch even says in the like when you do report something, don't keep repetitively reporting the same thing because you've already like a ticket has already been created, you know. So this is being documented, and we are going to address it. She's so desperate though for them to respond like in the snap of her fingers, and so she just keeps on reporting the same thing constantly. So now she's harassing Twitch. They look into this, finally get back to her, and there is no action to take on this because you know what? The guy has deleted any streaming sites that he has himself because of all of this stuff. Like, so that kind of sounds like an issue resolved itself if you think about it. But she needs like now jail. The guy needs to go to jail for what has happened. Like, it's crazy.
She does that too, where she was talking about like she's been flagged thousands of times, and we've had thousands of people report him, while showing the thing from Twitch saying that I think they responded to her and they were saying it might take longer to review stuff if we have multiple reports of the same violation. It doesn't make it any worse, you know, like thousands of reports against one report doesn't make it any difference. Like it's the same report, you know. They're like saying that she's saying that they're still not doing anything about it even though we've sent thousands of reports, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't make a difference. They're literally telling you it doesn't make a difference. You're showing it on screen and still using that as an argument.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird. Like you don't realize that you're not making any sense.
I've uploaded. I've linked them down below so you can get more context on just what's going on with that situation. But it's like super crazy and intense, and you would expect that a big creator like Destiny would want to pick up a story like that. So now at this point, I want to go back a bit and talk about what led us to this point. And I'll go over all of the leaked DMs with some exceptions of things that I don't really want to get out there and try to provide context. So Destiny and I used to be friends, or so I thought. Our first interaction.
That's already the first misunderstanding. Like, I don't think they were friends. I think this is a misconception of what I explained earlier, where she views things a certain way, makes presumptions, and then thinks those things are facts. So she thought because they were in friendly terms, and remember, this video didn't start, and at any point, this is the first time she said her and Destiny are friends. Every time she's described their relationship before that, it was in friendly terms.
Yeah.
We were on friendly terms, which doesn't mean we're friends. It just means we're friendly with each other. It doesn't mean we're friends. Now, they're friends. You know, it's like now she's saying we were friends.
We were friends.
Those are different things. Were you friends or were you on friendly terms? Which one is it? But hold on, I have to go to the bathroom. We're going to take a few seconds. Oh, okay. That's weird. Yeah, see, maybe it's just crapping out, so it wasn't working right now when and then I tapped it, it started working again. I guess maybe there's like a loose wire or something. Alright, well, let's get back to it.
Oh, yeah.
Action dates back to
bring this up first.
Yeah. Maybe there's like a loose wire.
April of 2020. That's when I had this beef with a streamer called Tree of Logic. She is a black conservative streamer who made accusations at me for being racist.
See,
while
now I don't believe this. Like, she's talking about this is her beef with Tree of Logic. I know I've seen some of Tree of Logic's content. I don't know her very well, like, as a person, but it seems kind of off for her to just suddenly do this. This seems like this is probably a war that started between them because she started it, right? Like, she seems to always start it. We might have to look into that and see Tree of Logic's angle on that and see how that happened. But here's the DMs already between her and Destiny where this starts. Thank you for the chance to talk, and I'm sincerely sorry you had to put up with the yelling, LOL. I've been a bit emotional over this, but I'm ready to put it in the past, so thanks again. Destiny says, LOL, it's fine, no problem. She redacted something she said. I don't know what she says there, but then he gave her a blue heart. I'm not sure what Destiny means by that. It could be flirty. I would think a red heart is probably more flirty. I don't know what blue heart means, or like, you know.
That sounds
But
like his brand.
what is strange here is that she did black something out. Maybe she told them what her name is. So, by the way, my name is this, you know. And she, you know, whatever it could be. If she says something private, that's fine. But we don't know what that is. But now but remember, she's trying to portray this. He's sending me hearts as being flirty, you know. Or that we're friends.
Simultaneously hurling a ton of derogatory slurs and comments at me regarding my race. Destiny had us all on stream.
Dude, I don't know how true that is, but maybe she did do that, but probably because it's something she did. It's funny that she doesn't say what she did in that situation at all.
Yeah.
I was completely innocent, nothing, and Tree of Logic just suddenly, out of nowhere, attacked me and started calling me these names.
And at the time, I was like a 15 viewer Andy. So I was like,
So with 15 viewer Andy, like, why is it a 15 viewer and not a 2,000 viewer Andy that she is now? Or,
whoa, this is crazy going on this big
viewers.
stream and getting so much exposure, right? And Destiny pretty much just called her out as a liar and disproved a lot of the things that she was saying, a lot of the claims that she was making about me. So after that, we were really cordial in DMs and on friendly terms.
we might have to watch that at some point and see if that lines up, because so far from what we've seen about this lady is she starts beefs and then they come back at her and she plays victim.
A couple months later, the Inception esports drama with Matt Brockett, the child predator, popped up, and I was desperately trying to find large
child predator. See, now his
Child
name is
predator
Matt,
now.
blah, 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 the child predator.
Yeah.
Remember in her initial video, the first one she made about it, she kept calling him the accused one, or the, you know, the suspected one. Now he is,
100%.
100% he is, you know. And then even in that video, halfway through, that turned into known sexual predator. You know, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's crazy that she does that. Now it's like solid. Like, now she's like, I need to double down on this and not turn back at all. Not leave any kind of leeway that I might be wrong at all.
And you know what? She really can't now, because her child, who she's saying is the victim in this, on the Matt person's right, is now about 5 years old or so. Because this happened when her child was like a toddler. And so she's convinced that her daughter, that this actually happened, and the daughter will now address this guy as, but you know, the bad man that saw me naked, Mom? And
She said that in one of her videos,
and she
She
puts
said,
her
now my
daughter
daughter
in her
asked me,
video.
is that the bad, when she sees his picture, she says, is that the bad man that saw me naked? Why does her daughter even know that? Like, her daughter's like 4, she's not on the internet, she doesn't need to know any of these things.
So
Why does she know that, though?
But that's like the most shittiest thing, to convince your daughter of something that happened. Really, her daughter did not need to know that anybody had, for a like a split second, seen the child. But she started that whole reason why that was shared back, return of service to throw back at her on Twitch. But like, just ridiculous that she's.
And is she ever going to explain to her daughter that was like, oh, remember that time you came in the room and I was streaming and you came in by accident, naked, and well, somebody used that. Well, that guy used that to blackmail me by reporting me to Twitch and saying, like, leave me alone, because I'm calling him a pedophile to everyone all over the internet.
It's like if she admits that she was out of line with this whole accusation, she has to explain, okay, I lied to you about this actually happening.
But it's like, it's funny that even to her own daughter, she's only going to say a part of the story. It's like, don't even say anything. You're not going to tell her the whole story.
To help us signal boost and help us get Twitch's attention so that we can.
She's just teaching her daughter to do what she does. She plays the victim and she's teaching her daughter to do the thing.
And hide behind
That's
being
Get
a
this
woman
guy off
to
the
defend your actions.
platform and potentially protect people from harm. As most of you probably know, Matt Brockett, the child predator, has terrorized me
predator.
and my family and continues to terrorize
But,
Me and
but
my
none
family.
of this, you notice that she never puts the pretense of, I accuse this guy of being the child predator. The fact that she calls him a child predator is,
Yeah.
that comes from her accusation of that. She's accused him that from the beginning, called the police, reported him, has a campaign against him.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't start with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this guy's been haunting my family, and it's like, yeah, but you've kind of been haunting him and his family, right? Harassing them.
and harass me to this very day.
Yeah.
And again, those 2 videos are linked in the
To this
description.
very day,
At
I
a point,
doubt
I
that.
contacted Destiny and told him my heart was hurt.
No. Let's read these DMs as she's showing them, right? Hey, I have something about to break tomorrow. I can't talk about it tonight, but I will be posting it on Twitter tomorrow. Appreciate what you're doing. My heart has been hurting all day after this. Right?
Destiny goes,
Over this.
damn, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know what the yaya thing is, but he does that a lot. It's not damn I'm sorry, yaya. But to me, that seems like, okay, whatever. You know, like,
Yeah.
even that, just it's quick, okay. If you don't want me to chat about it or bring it up, feel free to let me know. So just say, yeah, let's not talk about this thing I'm dropping tomorrow. Let me know, because we're
Yeah.
going to have a conversation. That's fine. But so far, it seems like he's not even interested on the big thing. He's like, oh, yeah, can't wait to hear. He doesn't care. I don't know if you heard all this crazy. Already, this is what's funny.
She's stoking
She's
the fire.
poking
Yeah.
for him to be interested in this. You can
Yeah.
see by the way she's saying, I have something that's about to break. I can't talk about it. I don't know if you've heard about all this. She's already talking about
Yeah.
it. You just said you can't talk about it. He's not poking you to talk about it, but here you go talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And that shows what her intention is. She wants Destiny to ask and be interested,
And
but he's not. He doesn't care.
and you know what? She's gonna take if he ever talked about this, she'd take that and say somehow he was tipped off, but she's explaining it all
Yeah.
basically to him. Like,
That's what I say. That's what's funny about this chick is that we only, like, really for all of these, and the other one with Hunter, we watched Hunter's side too, but just because it was funny to see both sides. But
Yeah.
for the most part, we're just hearing stuff from her side, and it's fishy. Like
Yeah.
everything you hear seems like she's not explaining things properly, and then shows you stuff, and you realize she's not explaining it properly. And already, just from this DM, you can see how this relationship might be different than what she's thinking. Like, she's poking for him to care, and he doesn't care. Like, you can see he doesn't care. I don't know if you heard all the craziness with Inception Esports today. With the owner, see, already, that's what I'm saying. This is a minute later. She just said, I can't talk about this.
yeah.
2 minutes later, she's literally explaining to him everything that she's doing.
Somehow
And what she's going
she
to
was
reveal the
tipped
next
off.
day. Yeah. Esports today, and the owner sexually harassed me and a lot of other girls. It's going to all come out tomorrow. Now, this sexual harassment of her, she never shows. She says she has that it was in DMs. She says she's never shown that. She's shown her talking to other girls who have said they said inappropriate things, or they heard from someone else. Like, there's not really any solid evidence of this
Yeah.
stuff. And then on top of that, even if he did, well, yeah, you had a scumbag, whatever. I think at some point he even released an apology thing about it. So, like, he's even apologized for what he's done in that sense.
Yeah.
All this other, like, pedophile stuff is just shit that she's
That's
accusing him
bullshit.
on barely any evidence. On
Yeah.
him maybe possibly having some edgy humor around some people underage.
People that are younger.
So it's very strange that she goes this hard.
Over what was going on.
Sorry, tomorrow, okay. Yeah, see, like, even, and then she tells him what it is. It's all going to come out tomorrow, and he goes, yeah, there's a lot of shit going down. Yeah. That's
I
it.
have no idea.
Holy damn, at least a lot of the creepiness is finally getting revealed. That's, again, for me, that seems more like, oh, wow, well, I'm glad you're going to reveal all that. Like, it has nothing to do with me. I don't
Yeah.
want anything to do with it, it seems like, right? Like, he's not that interested in it.
Yeah.
He's not poking her more. Really, tell me about it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
he's not. He's, okay, I'm glad that's going to be
Fill me
revealed.
in.
Settled with, you know?
And that I was going
But
to be
it
breaking
seems like what she's looking for is him to be concerned with her cause and be into it too. Yeah, man, you got to do something about this, you know? But he's not doing that, right?
something very heavy. He said he'd be happy to chat about it, but then the next
He'd
day
be
he
happy
said,
to chat about it. That's not what he said. What he said was, let me know if you don't want, at least from what she showed. So now she's saying he said something that she hasn't shown us. So I don't know if that's true. Because we've seen she's lied already. From what she showed us, what he said was, if you don't want to talk about it, let me know. So that it doesn't get brought up on the street. Like they're going to debate something and that doesn't get brought up. If you don't want us to talk about it, let me know. I won't bring it up. Which is pretty respectful. Right? So he said, so then she comes back with, just let me know when. I've got all the receipts. Yes, LOL. Read the tweets I sent. This is just him. Oh, this is her, like, badgering him. Like,
Yeah, trying to get her
him
attention.
over and over
Because
again.
he's not responding, right? So then, because a day or something goes by, he doesn't
Yeah, he's been
respond.
busy.
But she's trying to get attention.
Um,
And then shows a tweet so he can get involved in the back and forth or something. I don't know.
and also, I don't know what he said before. She's like, just let me know when. I don't know what he said. She said, he said he wants to talk about it. I don't know. But, so she shows him this tweet where she tags this dude and says, I'm sorry, but how does a 13-year-old say LMAO at your gross sexual comments make it okay? What?
And all the sexual comments, like big heavy quotations around sexual comments that she tried to show is him using an eggplant emoji, him kind of questioning why some type of like sexual suggestive fan story or something like that is being shared in his Discord, and being kind of repulsed by it, and mentioning that he does sex better than them because he's like older than them, so he's probably more experienced.
It's probably true.
Nothing else is like him trying to lure younger girls to sleep with him in any type of way, but she'll paint it to look that way with whatever she has. It's just not working.
She also lies and she makes this weird thing about there was like some young gay kid there,
Yeah.
and he was making some fanfic about young children having sex or something.
Yeah.
And she makes it seem like he was encouraging it, but when she shows the DMs of it, he's saying, why are you guys doing this? Like,
Yeah.
it seems more like he's just questioning it. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you guys... And then he even says something like, you guys are weird or
Weird,
something.
like-
LMAO, you guys are weird. Like, so it doesn't seem like he was
Not
encouraging it at
encouraging
all.
it,
It seems
yeah.
like he was kind of put off by it. But she kind of explains it differently. It's strange that she does that. But then, yeah, he comes in and says, sorry, I didn't get time to get to these yesterday. There's so much shit going on. So, yeah, he's busy.
he was
He's
busy
busy
with-
and she's trying to get him into her cause again. He's not interested. He's not that interested. He's got a lot of stuff
So
going
much shit
on.
going
Why
on.
should he be interested in your cause?
I kind of started to vent to him, but you
I
can
kind
see
of started to vent to him, say you were bothering him while he was busy, you know. This thing blew up a lot more than I expected it to, as well. Basically, the last 3 days for me have been an IRL episode of How to Catch a Predator. Except, you know, you're not good at that, and people shouldn't be playing How to Catch a Predator. I think there's been, like, legitimate complaints about Chris Hansen, too, like, him trying to do these things and then ruining
People's lives.
This is where I was saying, for all anybody knows, she could have ruined this. Possibly he was already being watched by the police and the FBI, and they were compiling evidence and trying to catch him in something that he hasn't done yet, but watching him to try to catch him in something, and she now has ruined it, and now he knows that he's under investigation. Because I said she reported him to police, and he knows it, which means they probably contacted him, and now this has all been known, and now he can not do something or hide stuff, and now he won't get caught. And she's ruined. That's the complaint about Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
Is that happens sometimes? He brings attention to someone, and now they might not do something that they were being watched and waiting for them to
He's
do
not
to catch
law
them in the
enforcement.
act.
Yeah.
You know, and you ruin investigations.
Right.
That could have possibly been something that happened here now, but she's ruining it, and she keeps bringing attention to it, keep ruining it. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like if there really if there weren't any like child like porn that this man had on his computer, if he were actually investigated, I just don't see him continuing to be online.
No, yeah.
And-
And why would he screen cap a picture of her kid running on screen naked
And
to
then
report it
explain
if
what
he was
purpose.
actually a pedophile with like
Yeah.
illegal stuff on his computer. Why would he bring attention to himself like that? And then be the person to state that and be like, I have this and I'm going to report you if you don't stop harassing me.
Yeah.
Why would you do that knowing that you have illegal stuff on your
Just put a
device
target
or that
on
you
your
do
phone.
illegal things? I don't believe that's the case. And if anything, she keeps using that as he even admits to it here. And I see that as actually going against her her argument. Yeah, she shows it as he admits it, so it must be true that he's doing it for the, that he's a pedophile. And I'm like, no, him admitting it is almost saying, I'm not afraid of you having the police
Retaliate.
investigate
Yeah.
me because I do nothing illegal. And I'm doing this to catch you in something illegal, not me.
Yeah, right.
Like, this is to report you, not to report myself. Why would he
That was what he said
people call that
originally, yeah.
self-reporting, right? Like,
Yeah.
why would you self-report? That wouldn't make sense. Like that,
If you the first in the blog that she made about this, she even included that like he said himself, they'll have to put me in jail for for whatever you're accusing me of, basically. Because I've done nothing. But if that's happening, then yeah, put me in jail.
Yeah.
Basically. So
So Captain Predator, seems like it. Holy shit. Again, to me, Destiny seems very, I don't care, basically. It seems like it. Holy shit. As she writes all this stuff again. Dude, it's so much worse than what's public. I haven't decided how to move forward with the other stuff. I'm still trying to compel evidence. But basically, he ran an esports team for just chatting streamers, which was a scam, basically. Okay. Maybe she has him on the scam. I think he apologized for that. So people can move on from that, or you could just keep telling people it's a scam. That's fine.
yeah.
But then go on to this child predator stuff is insane. Like, he made some inappropriate comments to me, which got me wondering what else was going on. Ended up doing some digging and uncovered tons of minors in his Discord with him exchanging sexual jokes and references. That's just the teal deer. Now, already, even from what she's explaining, it doesn't prove he's a pedophile or a child predator. It kind of just seems like maybe he doesn't watch his mouth around kids, maybe, which is a different problem, which is all right. Maybe he's inappropriate around children. That's a different problem than going around telling people he's a child predator. In fact, she names the little sections of her video. What's this section called? Asking Destiny for help with a child predator. Where did she say in this, hey, Destiny, this guy's a child predator. Can you help me? Nowhere in here is she saying this. In fact, if you read this and you're thinking of this as the first time you're hearing it and you're thinking of it from Destiny's part, nowhere is she saying this guy's a child predator. From what she's saying is he's inappropriate around children. Okay. Wow, that's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah,
But she's not saying he's grooming these kids and all that. So she's already lying with the titles of these, Plus, he's just a creepy asshole who's been inappropriate with a bunch of women. You already said he was inappropriate with children.
Now you're
Is
saying
him being
women?
inappropriate with women worse than that? Like, why did that need to be added in? Is that worse? I don't think so. He says, holy yikes. Again, really okay, whatever. Really doesn't even seem like it matters. This shit just boils my blood. About to do a whole stream on it right now, and the door's going to human trafficking charity. Donos? The donos.
Going to...
Kind of small. Right now, and the donos going to human trafficking? Yeah. Okay, I'm sure she wrote it.
I'm sure.
The mic is trash, bro. I know.
Yeah,
There's
sorry.
actually a microphone being thrown from the other side of the country
Yeah.
at me, so I could change it right now. There's nothing I could do about that right now. So.
He's kind of passively trying to blow me off, and I could sense that. So I didn't want to pressure him to have me on or discuss it publicly again at that time. I just kind of let it go. A month later, in July of 2020, I again approached Destiny trying to get help with the situation.
At this point, I'm not that sorry. like I said, everybody on the chat has brought it up. Like, why can't you just read a few messages up and see that who said the mic's fucked up? Like, there's not much we can do about it. I'm not going to run to the store right now. I mean, if you want to run over and bring me a microphone for me to switch it out right now this instant, I'll do that. But there's no other way I'm going to be able to fix this situation. So, Blah, blah, blah. So she says, what the fuck, man? Twitch is so sus. We are still trying to bring down that Inception douche. Twitch has done nothing. Yeah, they haven't moved on a lot of people for some reason. Maybe they're going through all the cases, which is reasonable. Which is a reasonable thing to say. Yeah, it takes time. They're gonna go through stuff, and then she says, "Yeah, but we have a 20-page report." Now, even more, it's funny. She doesn't even like figure this problem out. Where he's saying, "Yeah, it takes time to go through all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. It takes time." She said, "Yeah, but we have a 20-page report."
Yeah.
So, you sending a 20-page report as opposed to other people just sending a flag and a small little problem thing, what do you think takes longer, right? Doesn't you saying, yeah, but we send a 20-page report, doesn't that actually acknowledge that it should take a long time for them to get through this?
Yeah.
You think they're going to prioritize something that has a 20-page report, or are they going to go, let's take all these other ones out that we can knock out quicker, that's just like a sentence for us to read, and we can knock those out quicker and eliminate those? Or are they going to go, let's go straight to this 20-page report and spend hours on this, like right now? Right?
Or just look at the number of pages and, well, that must prove it, so like immediately action right away. But I've got 50 more that says that she's full of shit, so how about that, if that's what she's going to say?
But also, a 20-page report doesn't really mean anything.
No.
We don't know what's on those 20 pages. Yeah. She says a 20-page report with proof of him threatening people and follow body streamers. Maybe that's one instance of both of those things in a 20-page report. That doesn't mean much. That's still just one instance of those. And that's like, you get caught doing that on Twitch, that's possibly a warning or a week ban maybe. All right, well, you can't stream for a week. Maybe that's what happened, and that's it. If he hasn't done it again, then there's nothing else they're going to do about it, right? All his sponsors are fake, too. Not to mention, I have proof of him tricking 14-year-old kids into signing fake contracts to play Fortnite for his team without any parental consent. Now, she says that, but in her own report of that, and she's showing that and shown screen caps of that, of him talking to minors about signing contracts, he literally, in the same one that she showed the screen cap, he literally tells the kid, oh, it doesn't really matter because I can't really hold you to this contract anyway if you're a minor.
Neither of us have legal repercussions if this isn't fulfilled.
So it's not tricking a 14-year-old to signing a fake contract if he's literally telling the kid the contract doesn't stand, right?
Yeah.
So he's not tricking anyone. And if he is tricking people, show us the evidence of that. Don't show us the one time he did say, this is like the problem that people have with like Black Lives Matter, where they'll be like, police brutality is a bad thing. Look at this case. And you look at that case and you're like, no, that's a legitimate case of that person being dangerous. Like, you know what I'm saying? And instead of them being, oh, well, here's another case, they still double down on, no, that's a real case. That's a real case. And you have all this evidence that it's not, And then all that evidence doesn't matter to them. Just like, oh, what does it matter if we said Breonna Taylor was sleeping, right? Like, I hear Hassan say that. That's besides the point. But that is a thing you were saying that's manipulative, and we're calling that out. He has an actual esports team on Twitch and partnered Discord. You think they'd care? Yeah, geez. Again, she's writing all this stuff and he's answering with these one-sentence stuff that's like, yeah, okay.
Get me off this ride.
Yeah, it seems like he's just kind of trying to brush her off. Like, I don't... This is a thing of people not recognizing that they're not into your cause. Like, this is my cause, and he keeps talking about, animals keep, like, I'm not a vegan, and you keep going, yeah, animals, they go through all this stuff, and, factory farming, oh, yeah, okay, damn, that sucks, and you keep going and going. It's like, you don't realize that I'm not interested, and I don't care, but you keep doing it, and so that's what she's doing here. Plus, like, 30 screenshots of him sending sexual messages to kids on Discord, which isn't true from what maybe there's a few screenshots. Maybe she's saying there's 30. I didn't see 30. I saw a few. Mm-hmm. But from those that she shows, which you would in her video, which you would think in her video when she's pleading a case, that she would show her best evidence. From the ones she's shown,
shows
the evidence sucks. Yeah, it's not good evidence. And it's almost like he's not saying it. What like the way she's saying it here kind of seems like they're DMs, but they're not. It's on a public Discord,
Yeah.
on a general chat. He's saying it to the chat in general. There just happens to be some underage kids there. Like, yeah, maybe he said doesn't realize, or maybe he's just an idiot. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean he's a child predator.
No.
That's where I say she's taking it too far. So, all right. So, the police are investigating him as we speak. So she called the cops on this guy, but he's her harasser. She called the cops on this guy. The cops aren't doing anything about it. That must mean they investigated it. At least in my mind, that's like, well, they
Yeah.
investigated it and it's not enough evidence, or it's not enough yet. Maybe they're still going, but she's still
Insisting that
insisting
it
on
is
this.
way.
You'd think at
Yeah.
this point you'd be like, all right, let me stop. I've already alerted the police. I've taken this as far as I can. It's on the police now. Maybe they'll keep an eye on him or something.
Right.
But instead, she keeps hammering on this as if the police haven't done
They're
anything.
just
Well,
being lazy.
you just said the police investigated him. So if they're not doing anything, that means they investigated him and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
You know? Or at least nothing there yet. Maybe you should shut up and let them
Let it just be
investigate.
investigated.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she doesn't realize that. But she's a private investigator, which is
So she
crazy
knows
because
how
you
to
think
do
a
the
private
thing.
investigator would know. Shit, let me quiet up and let the police finish their, continue their
Yeah.
investigation. Or maybe watch this dude in private and have some dudes watch this dude without being so loud about it, then maybe you can get more evidence.
No,
you know?
no. She's a
But
scientist.
instead, now he knows he's constantly watched, and you're constantly telling him he's constantly watched. So now he's never going to do anything for you to catch him on it.
And she's a scientist, okay? She's a scientist. She's a private investigator. She's a bodyguard. You name it, she is it. So she knows. She knows the
Mhm.
things. Everything. Her word should be taken above everybody else.
Now remember, she's a private investigator, so these are her delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
She's using her thing of being a private investigator, and now she's bringing it like Chris Hansen. She thinks she's Chris Hansen. Now she's bringing that to YouTube and using it to try to expose people on YouTube, but she doesn't have the proper evidence. But you notice the delusion of grandeur, saying, look, even here. And yet he's still running free to harass the whistleblowers on Twitter. So she's a whistleblower. She's doing an expose. She's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
she's constantly making it seem like she's doing this huge investigation. I'm blowing the lid off. Remember when she first approached Destiny with this? She was like, I have this huge thing. I'm
Huge
blowing
story,
a lid off
yeah.
of this thing tomorrow. Like, she has from the beginning, she's had this delusion of grandeur, like that she's exposing this big thing. But really, this is small potatoes and nobody cares. It's not a big deal at all, And yeah, maybe you expose him as being a scammer. Great. Let people know he's a scammer. That's it. There's nowhere
Yeah.
else to go from this. From what we saw too, he apologized for it. It did a huge letter, the huge thing, and apologized to everybody that he lied to or whatever. And I'm sorry, I did this. What else do you want?
else?
That's it.
Yeah. But
What else do you want?
She's looking at all of this, and somehow it's being interpreted to her that Destiny's curious about this. I've gotten Destiny's attention on this now, and he's gonna talk about this because Destiny's one of those big creators that she's like, I need you, need you, man. We need this documentary to happen. So like, come and listen to me. And she's like, I got it.
Yeah, you notice this started off as Destiny released our DMs, and then it turned into, but now look at this whole clip about, and now what I remember from the DMs. Now let's go through them and look at all these times I asked them to help me with my cause, and you just brushed me off. Yeah, he doesn't care about your cause. Get over it. If you want to go on his stream to talk about neutering animals, because that's your cause that you care a lot about, and he doesn't care about it, that's not anybody. Who cares? That's not a character flaw of his. That's just him not caring. In fact, the character flaw is of you for not having the self-awareness to realize that other people don't give a shit about your cause.
If this were a face-to-face conversation, she would lack the body language. Reading somebody's body language to be like, oh man,
Yeah,
that sucks.
She doesn't know how to read.
I gotta
the
go.
word.
With gotta wash my hair.
Yeah. Crazy. And she
situation.
don't know how
And
to
at
read
that
the
point,
word.
I revealed a lot more to him, including that Matt was using the Twitch platform to lure kids into a Discord server.
Okay,
where
Destiny doesn't care about that. Destiny himself has been banned off Twitch multiple times. I think he's still banned off it
I
now.
think so. Yeah.
He doesn't care about this shit. He's not interested in Twitch is doing this and Twitch is doing that. He doesn't care about that stuff.
Was being sexually inappropriate with them and exploiting them. And again, Destiny feigned interest before ultimately
Where
blowing me
did-
off.
You guys read this.
Where?
Does this look like feigning interest to you guys? To me, it seems like he's trying to get rid of her.
Get
Like, he's
me
trying to be like,
off.
okay, thanks. All right, interesting story. See ya. You
Yeah.
know, like I'm busy. And knowing Destiny, he is a busy guy, right? Like he does a lot of shit. He's always talking
Yeah.
to people. He's always having people on.
That's the
He's
part
a
that
busy
kills
dude. He
me.
doesn't have time. If he's showing you this much interest in your cause, you should just take that as like, all right, let me move on. You
I'm
know?
glad I even got a response.
Yeah, glad you even got a response. Because normally, like, honestly, if somebody came, I'm not even as busy as Destiny. I don't
No.
have any audience anywhere near that. If somebody came to me with this, I'd totally ignore them, dude, completely. Or I'd straight up tell them I don't care. But I would probably ignore them and not
Yeah.
respond. Like, I'm not interested. Especially if I looked into what she was saying, because when you look into it, it falls apart more and more. And I would care less and less.
Like if her and Destiny go on to have a conversation about this stuff, I feel like the solution that she's going to put forward to him is going to be the same thing that she expected from Hunter, which would be, you need to remove these people from your community because they're being offensive to me, and you need to like account for this basically.
Yeah.
But how do you do that on the internet? That's an impossible request to make. Once again, just
Off again in the DMs. Another month went by, and I had at this time
Alright,
finished.
so I don't know if you're interested in this or not, but now again, bothering him again after
Uh-huh.
he brushed her off,
Finally
obviously
defined.
brushed her off. And anybody with self-awareness would see that as a brushing off or a person not being interested. But instead, she leaves, again, bothers him again in DMs, leaving this huge paragraph. Hi, so I don't know if you're interested in this or not. This Inception guy, I ended up doing a full investigation on him and uncovered some insane stuff regarding sexual harassment to women and even kids. Explaining it again, he already heard this story.
Yeah.
He's been follow botting and view botting everyone who is trying to speak out already. Remember, she said though he's doing that to whistleblowers. So she's repeating herself to him again, like you're not interested in my cause. Maybe you didn't read what I said before properly. Let me
So let
repeat
me-
myself,
yeah.
because you have to be interested in this, right? He's scared off everyone except me. Or maybe he hasn't scared them off. Maybe the thing is those other people realized that there's nothing more they can do. I've done what I can. The police have been contacted. We've already flagged this dude on these social medias. We've done all we could. Let's move on.
but he's
right?
just that crafty.
But she doesn't want to move on. She's
Yeah.
stuck on this. Twitch has ignored us for 2 months. Maybe that says something. You know what I'm saying? But she's not getting what that says. I don't know if you have the time, but I could show you the report of everything I had. Illegal, obscene content regarding my... You notice how it keeps getting worse and worse. She's making it seem worse and worse. Obscene. Before it was he said inappropriate things around children. Then and then now he's messaging inappropriate things to children. Now it's illegal, obscene content regarding minors in his Discord. Video proof of him bottling people and hiring a hacker to get people's IPs on Discord. That was even fishy too.
Yeah, that's
the hiring
not
a
true
hacker.
anymore.
That guy, it totally seemed like the guy was trolling him
Yeah.
or something like that. The proof she had on that didn't seem very good either. It's like a Netflix docuseries. That's what she
could
wants. She
die.
keeps asking people to make a Netflix docuseries
Oh
on it.
my god.
Yeah, that's what she thinks this is. That's where I'm talking about delusions of grandeur. She
Yeah.
thinks this is bigger than what it is, and it's a big nothing, you know. Anyways, just say the word if you want to look. I don't really know what else to do with it at this point. So, already, it's funny because she herself is wording this as, if you're interested, let me know, and I'll share this with you, we'll do it, you know. But that's not the case. The case, what she's saying, what she really wants to say is, Destiny, please be interested in this. Please put this on your thing. And because I feel it's so horrible that you should feel that way too. And you should be so interested in this. That's what she's really wants to say. But she's
hold
putting
on.
it out there as, if you're interested. And then afterwards, months afterwards, portraying it as, look at this thing he ignored. He doesn't want anything to... What a horrible person. I've asked him to help me catch this guy, and he just doesn't want anything to do. What a terrible person. It's like, what?
But you know what? This last part here, when she says at the end here, what can I say? I'm a mostly out of work private investigator and I got bored, I'm gonna just make an
I got bored.
assumption here, just for a really quick second, that if that's true, I'm gonna say that her license for that, I don't know if you need a license to be a private investigator, but it's expired. And possibly she got fired from doing this because maybe she's just that bad at doing this stuff.
Maybe.
And it's just a nothing that she presents to people each time. And so I'm gonna make an assumption that she's fired or not legally able to be doing this stuff anymore. But she thinks, just like that Anna girl that has an issue with Destiny, that Anna girl thinks that she's a psychologist or whatever like that, or an intern. But you know what? If she is, the things that girl says as well would be looked at very, very carefully because of the field that she's in. So I don't think that she's actually legally allowed to be doing this stuff anymore. And it
I
may
don't.
not
I don't
be-
think it's that hard to be a private investigator. Like most of the times you could just drive around in a van and take pictures of people, and
Yeah.
you're a private investigator.
It just sounds
So
like stalking.
I don't doubt she's a private investigator. I just don't think being one is that big of a deal. I think
No.
anyone could be a private investigator. It's super easy to be one. And most of the times these people are just out there trying to catch people cheating on each other and
Yeah.
taking pictures, follow people around. It's not that hard. In fact, nowadays with the internet, a private investigators mostly just look up Facebook shit and follow people on Facebook and see what
Yeah.
they're posting. Like, it's
And that's
super
it.
easy to be a private investigator. It's not that big of a deal. So her saying she's a PI is not a big deal. It's anybody could do that. Anybody who's curious and knows how to look through the internet for stuff can find people's
do that
information.
same
can
thing,
be
yeah.
A private investigator. It's super easy.
But if anyone else does it, they're harassing
Mm-hmm.
and stalking her. But she sounds like she's just legitimately stalking people at this point.
But again, notice the neuroticism here. And maybe that's not the proper word, but notice how the initial long paragraph message to him was saying, let me know if you want to look at this stuff. Kind of brushing, it's not a big deal. It's just something I'm doing. If you're interested, let me know and I'll show you the details. He never replied the interest. What can I say? I'm a bored
I'm
PI.
bored.
Here's the Google document.
Yeah.
With all the
TLDL,
information. It's like, you
TLDR.
didn't ask. Remember, she said, if you want, let me know.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm not going to send it to you unless you ask if you're interested. But then he didn't ask. So here it is. That's why I say this shows how what really she's saying is, Destiny, please pay attention to me. Please amplify. This is so important to me, and it should be that important to you.
I'm out of
But it's
work,
not,
and
but I want
need
it to be.
money. So give me money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of work.
Yeah.
This amazing document with Google Drive links and all
Right.
of
That
this
you told him to ask for, that he didn't ask for,
Yeah.
and then you send it to him anyway.
So then she presents
Proof
it
and
as
evidence.
if she's a brand new person. It's a new day. We don't know each other, Destiny. We haven't had a conversation with each other.
You know-
Hey.
What this sounds like, and it's really funny, and it sounds like she hasn't grown up, right? But this
Yeah.
sounds like a daughter who's a child,
Mm-hmm.
a 6-year-old, who painted something for their dad or something. I said, look, Dad. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's nice, and brushed it off. And I put all this work into it. And I
Yeah.
did the red, and look how I drew my dad, and I made him really big and strong. And he doesn't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And look how she's explaining it. She's saying, I made this Google document, I organized everything. Like, she's talking about how much work she put into this thing that Destiny doesn't care about.
Yeah.
And she's upset that he doesn't care. But why should he
In
care?
a neat little package. And
It's strange
wrapped
that
it
she
in a
doesn't
bow.
have that self-awareness to think, like, why should he care? Why am I here complaining that he doesn't care about a thing I put work into?
Yeah.
Like,
And Destiny's like, I thought I got off this ride.
Yeah.
Like, I thought I got off
yeah.
this.
And notice he's not responding. He doesn't care. Like, it's obvious he doesn't care. She just
that I
doesn't
had
have the
compiled, and I
self-awareness
had
to
like a
see
neat
that.
little package, and I
A
said,
neat
now
little
I can
package,
bring
yeah.
this to Destiny and see if he'll go over it on his stream. And again,
But
he
that's
was
not
bringing-
the way you're presenting it either. She's presenting it now. It's funny. She just said it as in, I put this together as if he asked for it, which he didn't. She said, if you want to know, let me know. He didn't ask, and then she went to the trouble, as what she said, to put together a package just for him to go over on his stream. But he never asked for that. And she's upset that he had, that he's not doing it. But he, he doesn't care.
Yeah. You can't make your own.
So weird.
You can't answer for yourself. You can't give your own honest response to this woman of, sorry, no, I'm not interested. She expects you to say, let me get back to you as soon as I'm
Yeah.
done investigating this.
Yeah, it's just somebody who's upset that they're not getting the attention they wanted from
Yeah.
somebody, and it's weird. Like, yeah, sorry, you didn't get that attention. Go somewhere else for it, then. You know,
Me off. In September, shortly
like
before the
Destiny doesn't owe you anything to be into your causes and do you favors like this for something that he doesn't even care about. You know?
incident involving my 3-year-old daughter being sexually exploited by Matt Brockett.
Which is not true.
Not
Is the-
true.
that is a lie of making it seem like something it's not, right? She's saying he took that picture to sexually exploit her daughter is a lie. The reason he took that picture was to report her for having her daughter on the screen nude,
Unclothed,
right?
yeah.
That was the reason he took it. That's not a sexual exploitation. That might be an exploitation of a mom fucking up. You know what I'm saying? She's taking accountability, says, yeah, I fucked up, but then she gets upset of people bringing it up or
Yeah,
using
right.
it to flag her. When you've accepted accountability, you should understand that people are going to use it to
Mock
flag
you
you,
with it,
or
yeah.
you know, because you admit that you made a mistake and that you violated the term of service. You admit that. Now, how Twitch handles it and says, well, you know, you're a mom, you messed up, you know, that happened, and lets you slide, that's fine. That's cool. But that doesn't mean that you didn't violate a terms of service. It means you did, and they let you slide, you know. So I promise. So now he hasn't responded. Now she set it up to him and said, if you care, let me know. He didn't respond. She sent him the stuff, the info anyway, without him asking. He didn't respond. So now she goes, so I promise this is the last time I'll bother you, LOL. So she understands she's bothering him now.
Yeah.
This is going to be pretty lit tonight. If you aren't sure, again, delusions of grandeur. This is gonna be lit tonight, you know. But to him, it's not. You know what I'm saying? So there's delusions of grandeur where she thinks what's going on is so big that Destiny's gonna be, and his huge audience is gonna be like, yeah, let's get in on this, you know, because
Oh
it's
my
that
God.
exciting. If you aren't streaming and want to help spread the word, maybe he is streaming, so maybe that's why he didn't reply. Want to spread the word? Check out the VOD later. I promise A+ content out of this. See, delusions of grandeur. I promise A+ content. Literally watch a professional investigator blow a predator's lies out of the water. You see the delusions of grandeur I'm talking about? And he's not interested. But to her, this is so huge that she just can't understand why he wouldn't be interested in it.
Yeah.
And it's driving her nuts. That's why he keeps bringing it up. And she's like, why? I'm leaving it open for him to not be interested in it. But how could he not be interested in it? You know? Yeah, and he said, if you're curious to know all that's going on in the online investigation, I'll go deep. Yeah, crazy. Count the lies.
How about we start counting
One
her
final
lies as well, though? Because like she's just leaving out a whole bunch of stuff, and she just keeps on making up lie after lie to pin on this guy and try and ruin his life.
Now remember, Chris Hansen did this with Onision,
Yeah.
and that was a big deal because Chris Hansen had a television show. He's a big deal, and Onision was a huge time YouTube stream content creator. He's a big deal. Both of them are big deals. That became a big deal. Neither of these two people are big deals. That's not becoming a big deal.
No.
But now remember, with the Chris Hansen thing, that went nowhere. It was
Yeah.
a big deal for a while, and it disappeared and went nowhere. Nissan didn't get in trouble with anything. In fact, he's in trouble for other
I
stupid
think
shit
it's
he
like
did.
tax evasion. or
Legal lawsuits and
Yeah.
legal battles and shit. But with that stuff, that went nowhere. And in fact, there is a complaint out there. I'm not sure if it's true, but I've heard an argument out there that he might have ruined an investigation that was actually going on with that, and he kind of ruined it, I guess. But knowing that, how does she not see this is small potatoes? No
Yeah.
wonder nobody's interested. You know, it's weird, but she doesn't see that. Like even knowing that went nowhere and that was a big deal. What makes you think this is gonna go somewhere
Yeah.
when neither of you are big deals?
attempt to get Destiny's attention on the matter.
Attempt
Because
to
I
get
really
Destiny's attention, even though it's like
Again.
if you want, if you're interested. That's not an attempt. That's an attempt to get his attention, but that doesn't mean that he should have to give you attention.
knew
Or
that
there's
if he
anything
were to
wrong with
cover
him
this
not
on
getting
his
attention.
stream, it would be so big for our cause. It would.
So
signal
why
to
didn't you
things-
ask him straight up, Destiny, please, as a favor, can you please, you know, instead, this is weird that people do this and people play this game, and she's one of these people, as you see, that play this game that this isn't a big deal when it is a big deal. Hey, yeah, this is going to be huge, but if you want, why are you playing that game? Why not just be like, Destiny, please? I think this is a big deal. I mean, it means a lot to me. Can you please do me the favor? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, if you're interested, if you're not busy today, you know what I'm saying? Because what you're doing is, for him, he doesn't realize that he's saying, well, I'm busy, so I'm not going to do, let me just not reply. She's saying, if I'm not busy, I'm going to go do this. Or if you're interested in this, let me know means, well, I'm not interested in it, so I'm not going to let her know. Right? So he's not replying. She's saying, let me know if you're interested. I'm not interested. I'm not letting her know.
Yeah.
Right? And then now she's acting as if he's doing something bad by blowing her off on it. When she's asking him to blow her off if he's not interested. You know what I'm saying?
This feels like one of those examples of like a damsel in distress, but she's been playing it off so like, oh, this is nothing like you're saying, and now it's like, oh, but I'm desperate.
Yeah.
Destiny, I'm desperate.
This is way more, there's a desperation in this that she's not telling him.
Yeah.
But you can see it between the lines, But it's also a thing of her also not communicate, of her not showing us that how she perceives conversations is not what she communicates in those conversations.
Yeah.
As you're seeing, she's telling us something different than what we're reading in the DMs. We're reading the DMs and we're seeing her saying, it's not a big deal, this is going to be huge for me, but if you're interested, let me know. If not, it's okay. She's kind of leaving it like that. But meanwhile, she's telling us, how could Destiny not have been interested in this and blah, 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 it's two totally different communications going on here.
Because earlier, the way that she's presenting it is like, this is going to be a therapeutic moment for me. And Destiny's like, wow, like, more, like, you
go for it.
You,
girl,
woman, lady.
Now, Destiny's not telling her or criticizing her for wanting to do this. Yeah, go for it.
More power to you. If this is going to help.
But he's not interested.
Yeah.
And if you watch Destiny and you've seen his content, he doesn't do this kind of stuff. He's not a guy who's like, I'm exposing this esports, blah, 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 pedophile found in esports. He doesn't do that kind of stuff.
No.
If anything, go to the quartering with that stuff. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Right? But he doesn't do that. That's not his content. His content is debates and debating politics and stuff like that, not exposing people.
So much. Get more big creators' attention and hopefully try to escalate this thing so that Twitch would actually do something about it.
But see, that again, we need to get bigger content creators' attention. If you're not getting that attention, guess what that means? That means it's not that big of a deal to get attention.
Shouldn't need to be the case, right? Twitch should just take action about it. But as you know, by
action for violating does that mean that Twitch should have taken action on you then?
Yeah.
Because you had your daughter on a stream naked?
Yeah.
We understand it was an accident, and almost anybody would say to be lenient on you about it. But if you're saying Twitch should take action on these things, and there shouldn't be them investigating and seeing if whether something is a violation of terms or not, then for you, they should treat you the same then, and they should ban you for having a child. Like if we're going to ban him for wanting to report you, and having the image of you having your child on screen to report you, and they should ban him because he reported you and had that image, then they should ban you too, because you're the one that originated that image. Right?
She makes it sound as if he's the one making content out of that clip of her daughter, when that's not
Or
the
he
case.
saved it for any other reason, when he explicitly said from the beginning, without anybody asking, he could have kept it secret, but he didn't. And said, I took this somebody clipped this image and then I saved it from their clip in order to report you. And even used it to blackmail her and said, hey, stop harassing me, leave me alone, stop reporting me, and or I'm going to use this to report you to Twitch.
And he said it could be anything. It didn't matter what it was. If it was in a violation, they were going to report it.
And what did she do? She took him admitting that and turned it into, see, he took that picture of my child predator for sexual. Imagine he said he sexually exploited my daughter, which is something he didn't do.
Did not do that.
But she turned what he did into that. That's a twisting. That's a twist. That's where I say where she the way she perceives things are the facts, and it's not the way things are communicated.
Below, they didn't. So we really needed a large creator like Destiny to address it, and this was right up his alley too.
How is it up
How
his alley?
is it up
Destiny
his
does
alley?
not do this kind of content at all.
Yeah.
Why is it? It's up his alley because he plays video games.
Like,
huh?
but you know what? Because she thinks she's just so crafty. This one, she's now making it Destiny's issue. Like this is, she's hoping Destiny responds to this now, because this will blow up her spot about everything that she's complaining on. Because now it's Destiny's issue. Like this is why she uses Anna as the example earlier, because Destiny actually has an issue with that Anna chick not leaving him alone, not talking about Destiny. And anytime Destiny talks about Anna, it's when Anna brings up Destiny first. Now, BXBullet, BX Backtrack, is trying to force a response out of Destiny by complaining about him, saying that he's also, like, condoning, like, her pedophile harasser and stuff like that, too. Which is, there's no proof of. Destiny doesn't want to touch it, doesn't want to talk about it, and she's forcing this now to happen, like... But she's basically see-through. She is all that she is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird.
I remember at the time he was going.
Oh yeah, and
through
then also saying the thing, Destiny himself has had debates, and he talks about the right and left, and he says, like, how the left is obsessed with fascism, the right is obsessed with pedophiles, and they see pedophiles everywhere, just like the left sees fascists everywhere and racists everywhere. He's like, it's the same thing on both sides. So it's not up his alley. He actually is double skeptical of that when you say that, because he already knows that people on the right, which she might say she's not on the right, but she does a lot of conservative talking points from what I see. So she at least is somewhat on the right. He already thinks that people on her side of the aisle are obsessed with it and see it everywhere, even when it's not there. So he's already double skeptical of it. And it's completely not up his alley. He's already said that, because he's not on the right. And he says the right are obsessed with that, so it's
really,
literally not up his alley, and he's literally talked about not caring about that topic like that, like how people have heard it.
all of the Me Too accusation logs from Twitch one by one and dissecting all of the evidence and making
What? Who's talking about Me Too stuff?
a verdict of whether it was legitimate or not. And several other people acknowledged that Destiny would be a great person to help signal boost.
The only
and-
reason he would be a great person to signal boost anything is because he has a large audience. It doesn't mean that it would be it's something that he would want to do or that would be up his alley. That doesn't mean that.
But
The
she
only
can't-
reason, saying that it's good for him to do doesn't mean anything.
But she can't bring up the view count or follower number that Destiny has, because she used that against the Rain Plasma guy for his reason for talking to Hunter, which was his view count. So she can't. She needs to explain it away differently.
Well, she's inconsistent with that for sure, because it's okay. It's okay for her to reproach YouTubers about this, but it's not okay for him to defend himself against her accusations. By going to a bigger YouTuber.
Yeah.
said that they would reach out to him
What's
as
up,
well.
DJ?
But none of us ever heard back from Destiny on the matter. After this final instance of trying to pitch the idea to Destiny to help us get this predator and alleged pedophile off the platform,
Now,
the
predator and alleged pedophile. Now she's calling him alleged again.
Alleged
But
again.
before
It was known.
no, he is, and she's saying alleged pedophile, but not alleged predator. So he's definitely a predator, but maybe not of children. Huh?
What is it?
What is he a predator or isn't he? Is he a pedophile or isn't he? There's not why sometimes he's accused of one and sometimes he is. She's very inconsistent with it, and like I said, her communication doesn't match what she's saying.
You know what? This is an example of this makes me think of being in Comtech class, where your teacher explains if you don't really have anything that's that juicy of drama or something to make it content, you kind of have to really just fluff it up a whole bunch. So she puts that clip at the beginning with Destiny. So now you're just sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for that part, that dramatic burst, and it's nothing. All of this is just nothing, but she's in.
That's it. The only thing now is a pattern, but the only thing now is to say, is the pattern on purpose, or is she really lacking this much self-awareness and doesn't realize that she's repeating this pattern, that she starts things and then plays the victim, and that she makes things about herself way bigger than they are, Is this a pattern of a lack of self-awareness thing, or is this something she's doing on purpose? Because also we've seen she is trying to get big on stuff, and she was on Twitter. she complained about it Twitter, and then she complained that she wants to leave Twitter because the stuff isn't going down.
Almost 2 years.
So
she's still there.
she's left Twitter again. I'm not Twitter. Twitch. She's left Twitch again now for YouTube, and now she's trying to blow up on YouTube. And I saw when she was on Gothics, she was talking about that Gothics was giving her tips, and she was like, "Oh, well, we'll have a conversation about it off stream about how you can help, make your shit better." But they were talking about ways of making it, and it seems like she's talking about she don't like drama, but now she's doing all this drama stuff. So it seems like, is she doing it on purpose? Like, is that what it is? And she's just trying to figure out how to twist these things into content so she can get attention and views, or because this is going to end up being negative. She is going to get some people who fall for this stuff, like we saw on the stream, and don't look deeper into what she's saying.
Yeah.
But there's some people like us who are pausing and reading the DM as opposed to her just flashing it on the screen and talking, and it goes away and you didn't read it and you just take her word for it.
Exactly, yeah.
And but she showed it on the screen what she was saying. Yeah, so it makes sense. Yeah, but did you read it on your own and come to your own realization? Or?
Unthinkable occurred. That's when Matt Brockett took and saved a video clip of my 3-year-old daughter who was unclothed when she accidentally ran into my room while I was streaming.
Accidentally ran into her room is also a funny way to communicate this. The girl didn't accidentally run into a room. The girl purposely ran into the room. She accidentally left the room in a way that her 3-year-old daughter could run into while she was streaming. Okay, the accident is on her. The way she phrases it kind of makes it seem like her daughter was the accident.
Yeah.
Or made the accident. But it wasn't. Her daughter was looking for her.
Yeah.
The accident is that she left it in a way that her daughter was able to run onto the camera screen. And again, she has not learned her lesson.
No.
I've said this before. I don't know if she's done something else that prevents her daughter to come in, but from the beginning, she could have just angled her camera in a way that looked like now we can see her floor.
Right.
If her daughter runs in, her daughter's tiny, as all children are tiny.
Yeah.
You can angle the camera that if they come in, you never see them. Many gamers, you'll see this, many streamers who play games and stuff, they have children. Their cameras, when you see their children come up, you'll never see their children. You see them look down diagonally, talking to the children. You see them look under their chair, like down to the side of their chair to talk to their children. You know what I'm saying? And you don't see them on screen. There's ways around this, but she hasn't done it.
Yeah.
I don't know if her child can still come in. Maybe she put something on the door that the child can't come in. But
we don't know that.
But we don't know that. And it seems like she hasn't taken any precautions, which is fine. I'm not saying she did it on purpose, and it's something that we can let her go on. She admits it's a thing, but it's funny she's still phrasing it in a way that she's the victim of her child running on.
Yeah.
You're not the victim of your child running on. It's your fault. You're the perpetrator of your child running into the room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we get it. Take accountability and say, I fucked up. I let my child run in the room, and now this guy's using it to try to get me banned off Twitch.
Yeah.
But she doesn't do that. She says, my child accidentally run in. Oh my God, and I did whatever I could. I stopped the stream. And this guy took the image, and he's a sexual predator, and he took it to sexually exploit my daughter.
Yeah.
Those things aren't what's happened. What happened is you fucked up. You let your daughter run on the screen naked. Sure, you did what you could. We can forgive you on that. But since you called the police on this guy and harassed this guy and tried to get him banned off anything, you must understand the expectation that this guy wants to do that back at you.
Yeah.
And if he takes a picture of your daughter and says he took it, it's most likely he's using it to get you banned off Twitch, And it's what he said it was for. I'm going to take his word on it because nobody would admit that they took a picture of a child if they were using it to sexually exploit that child, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. He just literally could have never said anything, and nobody would have ever known that he saved her picture.
Even in the video where she does explain that situation, she explains when she calls the cops in the incorrect order, because when we read the blog post, she had already called the cops on him for what was being discussed in his Discord and presented that as her evidence of child grooming that she was accusing this guy of doing.
Yeah,
but
that
in
went
the
from
video,
possibly grooming to he was grooming.
Yeah.
That was another.
But in her video, when she talks about this, she says that after that incident of her child running on the screen and then somebody clipping it, that's when she says she calls the police. But he already got wind of that, and this is why he clipped. Because why would he have clipped that video? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in the time frame of him
And
clipping
then she
that
says
video.
he clipped that video, and she says that he admits to, but
Yeah.
the proof she shows is not him clipping the video. It's a girl clipping it
Right, right.
and giving it to him.
Saying now
And
we've
he
got
saved
to
her
leave.
clipping, and she's saying he's being contradicting because he's saying he didn't clip it, but in this video he says he did. And it's like, no, you're not understanding that there's two meanings here. Clipping something and saving something mean two different things. You
Yeah.
know, you
Oh.
can clip something and then you can save something. They're different, especially in Twitch talk, because Twitching has clips that you can clip something.
Right,
And that saves to the person's own page.
right.
Now she said she deleted the clip, so the one girl clipped it. She deleted the clip, but the girl said,
I
too
already
bad,
saved
I
it."
already saved it,
Yeah.
and we're going to report you for it if you don't leave him alone. And then he, on a stream, said he saved it from her save. That girl saved
yeah.
the clip, and then he got the copy of it so that he could report it to Twitch. And
And-
he admit to saying it. He said that. He says, I have it, I'm going to report you on it if you don't leave me alone.
I forgot the best part of that part of it though, because now she's accusing this guy of using someone with a mental disability, because apparently the girl, her name is Danielle, the name was already shared apparently, but she has a mental disability of some sort, and she is now BXBullet is trying to say that this Rain Plasma person is taking advantage of somebody with a mental disability. I don't know if that's true,
Yeah, I don't know
and
if
she
that's
could be exaggerating the mental disability or handicap that lady has,
Yeah.
and trying to say
I don't
she's
know
been
if that's-
manipulated into
Nor would
clipping
that be,
getting involved with
that's
that
also
guy.
making shit up. Like, nobody has
I really can't
about it,
take
yeah.
her word for this point because it's worth nothing with all the lies that she's told.
But it's funny that she starts these things, that she's complaining that he's doing that. And yeah, blackmail is normally not a good thing, but if you push somebody to a certain point, call the police on him, try to get him banned. He can't do anything online anymore without getting flagged and crowds of people bother him. Then she's like, oh, and then the people who are doing this to him he's botting them
Yeah.
and blackmailing
It's
them.
all him.
Yeah, because
I'm him.
he's desperate for you to leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, yeah, well, now I'm gonna attack you back. I've tried that. That doesn't stop you. Well, now I'm gonna try to blackmail you. That doesn't stop you. I'm gonna try block everything and say,
Yeah.
please leave me alone. That doesn't stop you. What stops you
What
then?
stops
You know,
you?
like
Yeah.
then you're gonna complain that he's trying to stop you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do anything he
He
can to
saved it
stop
to
you
his
from
computer
bothering.
and began to blackmail me with it. After this
Right,
incident
began
went
to blackmail you.
Saying, I'm
Why
going to
is he
report
blackmailing? Blackmailing you for what? Blackmailing means if you don't do this for me, I'm gonna do this to you.
Yeah.
Right? What is it that he wants you to do for him?
Right.
Right? How come she doesn't say he's blackmailing me? Okay, for what? You know what I'm saying? Always, anytime somebody tells you they're being blackmailed, always ask, what are they blackmailing
What
you
are the
for?
conditions?
What's the
Yeah.
conditions behind the blackmail? Right? Because then they have to admit something. It's funny. You know something's hidden when they're not telling you what the blackmail's for.
Yeah.
And it's not, oh, well, he's blackmailing me to leave him alone and stop
What
calling
happened?
the police on him and stop telling my audience to report him and tell the police on him.
viral, Destiny still stayed silent on the entire
And it
matter.
went
but the
viral. Again, another delusion of grandeur. A couple of thousand people is not going viral this day and age on the internet,
Yeah.
right? You gotta break like millions to be viral. At least close to millions. 500,000.
ensuing uproar.
Remember what
drove
she showed?
now-
Look at the impressions. It has a million
A
something.
million.
But she doesn't understand how that works on Twitter. Impressions don't mean anything. That
Yeah.
means people scrolled by it.
No
you know?
new followers.
But there was no likes, no follows came from it.
Yeah.
Barely any like retweets or
Hardly
comments
any
or
equal
likes.
engagement with that number of how many people viewed it. It's just
Yeah.
things aren't adding up, man.
No.
Like
Impressions, what it is impressions is an engagement. She
Yeah.
thinks it is, but it's not. Just,
No.
You know.
off the internet for a while. Now, at this point in the DMs between Destiny and I, you can see that we're being very cordial
Okay, we're
with
being
each
very
other.
cordial, but let's read this. She said, thanks, we'll check it out, but I guess so far I agree with you more than I thought I would overall. What? I don't know what that means. Okay. Oh, I just saw you talking, and LOL, yeah, I like my guns. Haha, trying to type quietly. The problem is well, this seems like a weird interaction. I don't even know what happened there. So it looks like she typed this and then tried to play it off like she wrote it to the wrong person. He was like, "Oh, I just saw you talking." Like, what? And she was like, "Oh, I was trying to type quietly." Like, what? What does that mean? Like trying to DM you, but you not notice or something? The problem is gun violence is just not really anywhere near as huge an issue as people think it is, and fucking liberals lose elections, obsessing over magazines, blah, 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 blah. Agree. Would love to talk more about this sometime in the future. If interested, this is her trying to get on his stream, honestly. He said, yeah, okay. Yeah, anytime. So he's like, yeah, that's cool. You can come on and we could talk about guns. That's cool. Yeah, gotta go full Rob and stream. Get yourself in there. I don't know what that means. Not been drinking too much, lol. Yeah, that's when shooting is the best. I'm trying to be polite, lol. Honestly, a weak topic for me. I wish we could talking more about cancel culture or section. All right, so she came in trying to get on his show, it looks like.
Right.
But by saying that she wants to talk about guns, which he's also interested in. But now after he's said, yeah, we could do this, we could talk about guns. Now she's like, I don't even want to talk about that. It's a weak topic. Let's talk about cancel culture. Section 230, which I'm not sure what that is either. I don't care. LOL, I feel like I've done so much on cancel culture, but Section 230 is pretty interesting on both sides. It is. I have a unique perspective on it as a PI. Yeah. I remember your investigation stuff. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
I think the yeah stuff is his way of his yada, basically.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, all right. He's like, yeah, like basically bringing up being a PI again. Like, yeah, I remember
Here
you're
we
PI. Okay.
We're chit-chatting about a lot of things. We're discussing our personal lives a bit. We had our second on-stream chat
But yeah,
about
they're
guns
cordial. I see that, but it's also like he's kind of like brushing off too.
and gun control in February of 2021. And this discussion was very polite and civil. There were no debate bro tactics, and he seemed to really respect my knowledge of guns and gun laws. We even talked briefly about my career as a competitive shooter, and Destiny was nothing but respectful to me back then. In fact, the discussion was so cordial that it led to a minor uproar in his subreddit where people were complaining that
You know what's funny about this that I laughed too? Is you notice she sees everything, right? So this shows how much she cares about how people view her and what she does, right? Why did she even see this? She went on his forum, Reddit
She's
forum, and saw. I went on his thing, and then I went on his Reddit forum and saw them have a mild. It's not even that serious. Mildly disappointing. It's not even that disappointing. It's just mildly disappointing. Like
It's Destiny's
minor
Reddit.
uproar. How is that a minor uproar? Like,
Yeah. You know, if she looked into that Destiny subreddit thing, she'd see them discussing anybody
yeah.
that Destiny happens
Yeah,
to
that's what I'm
talk
saying.
with.
It's not a bit. That's why I say that she really cares about what other people think. Even the audience members of people, like
Yeah.
random nobodies on the
cares?
internet. What was that one we were watching and she's like putting
The
was it in
comment-
this video?
I think it was in this one.
Okay, well she puts up comments of people and it's like the comment is from an account with some like random Arabic name and
Yeah.
Arabic writing. Like who cares what some
cares?
random person from another country thinks about you, what you say or what your credentials. Who cares?
there weren't enough blood sports.
It
In
shows
other
her
words,
insecurity that she cares if people on the internet are like, you're not really a private event, you're not really a shooting competitor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well let me prove it. It shows that you're insecure then. Like
they didn't feel like Destiny had attacked my positions enough, and they were bored with the calm civil discussion we
mild.
had.
Who cares?
Like,
Now at this point, I started to
Yeah,
become
blood
a little
sports. People like blood sports and excitement. Then when you agree too much, it gets kind of boring to some.
she's doing like
more involved.
Jerry Seinfeld's parents when they're like, how could anybody not like him?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like George too, when
Yeah.
he's like he can't stand when people don't
yeah,
like him.
why
Like, what do you
doesn't
mean
like
she
me?
doesn't like
Why?
him? Then they have to like they go nuts trying to make them like them.
In Twitch political panels. So if you go into our DMs, you can see us having
GG last night. Thanks for the encouragement. Yeah, no problem. All in good memes. Haha, I hate agreeing with Infrared on some things, but to be honest, he's come down a bit. Remember, this is a very important part to pay attention to because later on she completely contradicts this and doesn't understand why Destiny acts a certain way when here she's telling him to act a certain way. Haha, I hate agreeing. Okay, yeah, we calm down. Yeah, he's mellowed out a lot. Also, I got pretty heated in arguments, so don't ever take anything personally, Destiny says. Now remember this. Destiny told him, yeah, I can get heated in arguments. So don't you already you've been warned. Don't take
Yeah.
it personally if
Right.
that happens, right? Because she does. And then she replies with, hell no, man. I told you already. I like it. So not only don't take it personally,
Yeah.
but now she's saying, no, not only will I not take it personally, I will like you getting heated in an argument with me and getting angry. I will like that. And she, and same. I will do the same back and get heated. Don't take it personally. Okay, awesome. Now she's just told. Now let's break it down to simple terms. This is the communication and how she never presents it as it's being communicated. Destiny told her, I can get pretty heated in debates and get angry. Don't take it personal. She says, that's cool. I like that. I will also vice versa.
Same.
All right.
Same back.
So she likes heated debate. Right?
Yeah.
Some behind the scenes conversations together while on panels. Again, all in good
It's
faith
so
and
weird.
perfectly
She's showing
cordial.
that just to show that they have cordial conversation. So weird to then complain about
Totally,
that
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
What she just showed in the DM that she gave him permission to do.
Yeah.
And said she enjoyed. And then now to complain about it.
Somehow this is going to show how Destiny is the bad faith person in these conversations.
Because he got angry in the debate.
But it's her
But she
that's
said she
being the
likes.
bad faith person here and just completely throwing, she flipped a table and was like, now what? Like,
Even in July
But then why,
2020,
if you just gave him permission and told him you like heated debates, why then would you be surprised if he got heated in a debate and act like, I don't understand why he acted this way.
Yeah.
When you just said you like when he acts that
Yeah.
way, that you would like him to act that way.
21, Destiny approached me after the John Zerka podcast to
Yeah, hey,
have
what's
a
up? We should chat sometime about your drug experience. Oh, Lord, LOL. Yeah, just let me know. Just curious how many different mushroom experiences you have.
more personal discussion about my experience with psychedelics. And that convo contained some personal information and some personal thoughts that I really hadn't planned on sharing with the world. And of course, there was no
So you
reason
should
for
have
him
never leaked any DMs. You would have leaked any.
to include any of that stuff in his leak other than being a jerk. And again, after that, we had
because
some
you
private
leaked
discussions.
DMs and he just said, well, if you're going to leak DMs, I'm going to leak all of them.
and you know what? She's going to use that
Yeah.
against anybody who happens to
But
bring
he's a
up
jerk.
the drugs that she's used, which are psychedelic drugs from the sound of it. If anybody brings that up, she does not want to talk about that, and how dare you have brought that up, even
Yeah.
though I just shoved it in
And
everybody's
he's the jerk.
faces,
Yeah,
though.
he's the
Like,
jerk. Why is she not the jerk for doing it? That's weird. That's what I'm saying. It's all one side.
Regarding Twitch drama, a couple of things here and there that I didn't personally want shared. Is it the end of the world that they saw it?
Yeah,
No.
but maybe you shared something he didn't personally want shared. You don't know because you never asked him if you could share with him.
yeah.
You never asked him, so you don't know. You don't know if he was comfortable with you sharing DMs of him sending you little heart emojis. You don't know that. Maybe that was personal, but it's okay when you do it, but
Yeah.
it's not okay when you do it.
Different for her,
Mhm.
not for anybody else.
But again, I just really think it's a shitty thing to do to leak DMs like that for no reason.
For
Things
no
began.
reason.
What have we seen here so far?
I mean, I hope Destiny covers this because it'd be funny, but it'd also be funny for him not and just
Just
completely
completely
ignore it. That would be
move on
funny
from
too,
it, yeah.
because obviously she wants attention. So he really should ignore it, but it would be funny to see his side of this and be like, I didn't want her sharing anything. It's like,
Because you know what?
that's all he has to say.
There is a possibility that Destiny saw this from Hunter's discussion. No, like he didn't,
I'm
he
sure
didn't
he has.
stream about it. Yeah,
Him and
but-
Hunter are cool, so I'm sure he has to see that.
and part of this issue that BX has with Hunter is that Hunter was criticizing Destiny and BXBullet's debate that they had, and she didn't like the way that he described that debate, so that was an issue to her. So that was an issue to her. So there is a chance that he maybe saw it and was like, yeah, this is like, wow, like just get me out of here. I don't want this.
To take a turn between Destiny and I when
Oh,
in
yeah.
September
This is
of
now
20.
when they do the vaccine mandate. We've also seen, though, in other videos that she does things out of order sometimes.
Yeah.
So I don't fully expect that this has been all in the same order that she said they've happened, but so far,
I asked-
even the way she's saying it and the order she's saying it, nobody's done anything wrong. Destiny hasn't done anything wrong
Yeah, like even
that she
if
hasn't
you
done first that started.
like if you look at her thumbnails for how she's put these videos up, it looks like she's also just put them all out of order and like just so anxious to get her videos out, but it seems like she's done this all out of order, because like the thumbnail that she puts for like the day after, when she goes the video, like first she puts out Hunter is enabling my harasser, right? But she has this thumbnail made up so nicely of Twitch streamer, stalker, predator. That should have been the first one, but this shit happened out of order, that she's just like fumbling all of this shit. So like she's just so anxious to be proven right.
I think it's funny she calls him my harasser. I think that's hilarious.
Destiny if he wanted to chat about vaccine mandates. And I was really expecting
Talk about vaccine mandates sometimes. He said whenever capital. But remember, Destiny was really gung-ho about this, and he was all talking about the mandates, blah, blah. Now he's like, I understand that that's a bad argument, but he was really big on it and very annoyed with that conversation at the time.
Yeah.
So when he says vaccine mandates, he answers in all caps, whenever. So already you can see he's kind of annoyed at this.
Yeah.
I can't really chat very late since I'm in EU. I'm streaming for the next 4 hours. So, okay, what's your schedule like tomorrow? I usually drop it.
another good faith conversation, because that's all I'd ever really had with Destiny.
But
this discussion
at
turned
this
into
point, that's all you ever had. But you already
However.
also had a conversation where he said he can get pretty heated, and you said you like it and sing, right?
Yeah.
So
a pretty
why
heated
wouldn't you
debate.
expect that as a possibility when you've just had that discussion and he told you that can happen?
Yeah.
And you said you love that. So.
Debates full of debate broism and, in my opinion, just kind of like bad faith representations of things that I had said.
Which is something she does, right? The bad faith representation of a lot of this so far has been.
I've said this publicly.
Well, and it's also bad faith representation how she represents this bad faith representation. Because she says he gets angry for no reason and calls her psychotic for no reason, while he's literally explaining why he's calling her.
frustrated. Yeah.
Why he's saying it's a psychosis that you keep repeating a behavior that he's told you not to do. Like answer this question, you dodge it and talk about other things, and he has to bring you back to it, and you keep doing that over and over again.
Many times, and I am not afraid to admit it. I'm not a debater. It's just not something I feel is a big
There's
strength.
another thing I don't get. If people, Lance has done this too, where he's like, I'm not a debater. Then
Why
why
are
do
you
you
having
agree
debates?
to do debates?
Yeah.
Like I'm not a debater. I don't go on and debate people. That's not something I do because I'm not a debater. I don't really care to debate these things. And so why do you do it? You know what I'm saying? And it's not an excuse for you to say, he treated me this way during a debate. I'm not a debater. It's like, but you agreed to the debate.
Yeah.
So that's not his fault for having the debate,
Yeah, exactly.
like as if he was debating anyone else.
Yeah.
Of mine. I really enjoy deep discussions about a topic. I enjoy.
So why
Why
have
aren't they
debates?
framed
Just have
that way
discussions.
then? Yeah, yeah.
But she literally does have debates, and she calls them debates. She says, "I debated Hunter on this, and me and Destiny debated on Alec Baldwin, or this and that." Like, if you're calling them debates, then call them debates. If you want just discussions, just have discussions.
Yeah.
civil, respectful conversations. I enjoy listening to
On top
other
of
people.
everybody knows, Destiny's been doing this for years. Everybody knows what Destiny's like. That other guy, the non-compete guy, did that too. Well, I just wanted to have a discussion with him about anarcho-communism, and then when Destiny asks some questions about what he's saying and gives him a bit of pushback, oh, I didn't know this was going to be a debate. I'm not a debate guy. I didn't want to debate.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what are you doing talking to Destiny about this thing?
Forgets his whole
Knowing that
critique
what
of
he does on the
Destiny.
internet is debate.
Yeah.
Perspective and thinking, I guess perhaps you have a point there, and going back and forth in that manner. And this also stems
She
from me.
thinks she has
Honestly, if
a
you
point.
want to have a conversation with somebody like Destiny, don't you think you would do that offline?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to go online, knowing that what Destiny does is do online debates and everything, that's basically his entire thing,
Yeah.
is play video games and online debates. Why would you have a discussion with him online when you could just have a discussion offline if you really wanted to have a discussion?
And it's just like she'll show it in like herself, but Destiny does think about her perspective that she's trying to put up, and just ask. And then he asks a question back to her, but she can't answer that question because she hasn't thought farther than that point that she thinks is just the end all be all. So the conversation happening, the debate happening.
career in the science field where I deal with people every day. I deal with my boss. I deal with
cares? What does
coworkers,
this have to
right?
do?
People have a
So
boss.
I know how to give constructive feedback and I know how to present an argument.
But you don't, because you just said you
Yeah.
don't debate. If you knew how to present an argument, you would know how to debate, and
Yeah.
you would be a debater. But you're not a debater. You just admitted
What happened to in
Without
that
being
stream? What happened?
you. Mhm.
Combative, and that's what I know how to do. I am not a
But
debate.
she said when it gets heated, she
She
likes
likes
it, and that she does the same. And now she's saying she doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she communicated. This is a thing. This is like a woman who consents to have sex, and then the next day retracts
it
that
back.
consent.
Yeah.
Because basically what she did was just totally give him consent and encourage him to do it, and say, "I like angry, heated debate." You know what I'm saying? I like it, and I do the same. And then when it happens, she retracted that as
Yeah.
if she doesn't like it and doesn't do the same.
Which
And now is explaining that she doesn't do that
Yeah.
stuff. But you told him that you did.
you know,
why?
just the fact that she does this, and it looks like it's set up to like try and expose Destiny as being like in what she's gonna call bad faith, when everybody knows this is how Destiny acts towards everybody, and he's gotten to a level where he's just frustrated now with her not answering the question that he's asked her. But it just feels like she's set this up, right, to make him look worse than he actually is
Yeah,
looking
awesome.
himself. And it makes me wonder, and I hate to wonder it, but did she set that stream up where her daughter was on the stream purposely to try and get that person
People
or
say they
anybody
are. People
to?
are pedophiles for
it-
taking pictures of her when she came on the screen.
I hate to
To
think
record
that,
it.
but just like how she's just so far presented herself, it makes me start to wonder if she did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because the way she sits there afterwards and smugly smiles, that stupid grin on her face, like, it just makes me wonder, oh, like, yes, the cards are just falling in my hand. Like,
Yeah.
exactly how I wanted it to happen. So, I don't know.
I think it's retroactive. I
Yeah.
think things happen and then she twists them tries to twist them in her favor.
Yeah,
when they're
I'm
against her.
probably
Bro that sits online all day and plays 10 hours of League of Legends, followed by 1 hour
But then
of
why would you go on to talk to somebody who does do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, let's say she never played League of Legends. Why would she go on Destiny to play against him in a game and then be mad that he won? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Or be mad that he didn't take it easy on her or
Yeah.
something. It's like, you don't do that.
No. So, like, why would you expect that, basically?
I don't play League of Legends. I play video games. I don't play League of Legends. I wouldn't go on Destiny stream, play League of Legends against him, and then expect him to take, and then be upset and try to do, like, oh, look what a douche he was. He destroyed my characters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, don't go on and play with him. You
Yeah.
never played the game. You're not into it, you know?
Not everybody's like that in video games. They're not gonna.
And then she's
help
going to
you when
criticize
you're
him for that.
struggling.
But you're the one who went on to talk to him about this, you know? And then I'm not the one who sits on my computer 10 hours a day and plays games and debates people all day. Then why are you going on a stream with somebody who does that?
Yeah.
screaming at somebody on the phone and then calling themselves a winner of a debate.
Did he
Like,
call
ima-
himself the winner
I
of the
don't
debate?
think he did that.
Knowing Destiny, he might do that to troll somebody sometimes if that person's being a dick. But knowing him, he doesn't usually say he won or lost debates. Like, he usually doesn't talk in that kind of way.
Even I've never really seen.
He'll say
just,
somebody
like,
had stupid arguments,
Yeah.
or God, that person was annoying to talk to. Like, I've heard him
Yeah.
say that a lot too.
that. It's enough of that.
That person
Like,
has no clue what they're talking
Yeah.
about. But he doesn't go there and go, "Oh, well, I won that debate." I don't really know him to do that.
Imagine if these people ever entered the workforce.
And this is where I say she's probably equating things his audience says to him.
Yeah.
It's probably his audience that are saying, Destiny, you lost that debate. Destiny won that debate.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's putting it on him, saying he goes around saying he won that debate when he hasn't really said that.
Yeah.
It's his audience saying that probably.
we're talking to coworkers like that or people in the real world. If you look at it
But you're
that
not
way,
in the
He
real
thinks that
world.
they're
You went into
coworkers.
his world, into a online streaming debate format show, and now you're complaining that the online streaming debate show was an online streaming debate show.
Yeah.
You know? Well, if it was in real life, but it wasn't in real life.
Yeah.
We just watched earlier Destiny talking to Fnatic in real life, and they did an interview where they talked to each other in real life. Super cordial. Nobody's voice was raised or nothing.
No.
You know why? Because that was real life. But
Exactly,
you
yeah.
get Fnatic and Destiny on a panel show and they're yelling at each other
Yeah.
and arguing in
It's
a way
like-
that you think they're going to get into a physical fight, because that's the platform. They expect that. They go there knowing that it's like that.
You know what it's like? It's like that little video clip of the dogs on each ends of the fence, and they're just like, "Arr, arr," like they're barking and like barking their heads off, want to kill each other,
Yeah.
and then the gate opens up, and they're like
Yeah.
silent, like they've got nothing to
Right.
say to each other, basically.
But you're not going to see that when the gates closes like that and then expect it to be different when you
Yeah.
get there. Like that's the
Exactly.
way it is. You know what the gate is. You know?
From an outside perspective of somebody who doesn't have a lot
But
of
I
experience.
do think Destiny would have talked to her like that in person.
Yeah.
If he annoyed her like that, if she annoyed him like that, he would talk like that. Because that's what it was. What it really was a really annoyed Destiny who was really annoyed at the way she was handling the discussion.
in these online spaces like me, seeing these kinds of tactics.
It's not a
the kind of
tactic. He was
not.
literally annoyed. At least from what she shows, it didn't seem like a tactic to me. It seemed like he was literally annoyed
Yeah.
that she was dodging the question that he was asking.
What
Over
about
and over,
her
multiple
tactic?
times that he did it, and that's what he got annoyed by the repetition of that.
What about her tactic? She's
Yeah.
exposed herself one way, and then she does something completely different here now.
That's a matter of perspective where
Right.
she doesn't, that's a self-awareness thing where she doesn't look outside her perspective. To him, she was doing a tactic. He's like, every time I ask you a question, you go to talk about something else. You talk about things that have no relevancy and stuff we've already established. Like we
Yeah.
already established
Yeah.
that. Why are you bringing that up again? And you're dodging my question to bring up something we already established like 3 conversations ago.
Right.
Like, why are you doing that?
Tactics that debate bros use online, while they may be entertaining for you, the viewer, if you're in it, it's bizarre if you're not.
It's weird.
used to
This
that.
whole thing is about Destiny leaking DMs, but that was just a very small tip of the beginning. The rest of this has been Destiny didn't treat me like a princess and
How
throughout the
dare
2
he.
years that we've talked.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basically what this is.
Kind of thing. So if you're trained to be polite and cordial and have respectful conversations, and somebody
But
just starts
even if you are trying to do that, you did tell him that you like heated debates and that not to take it. He said,
And
don't.
same.
Him saying don't take it personal is telling you that heated debate means it's going to be like, I'm going to insult you. I'm going to do things that you would normally take
Yeah.
personal, but don't, because
And-
you should understand that
yeah.
that's how I act when I'm heated. And she took that warning and said, that's fine. I like that.
But now,
I do the same. But
here she is.
but then
taking
when it
personal.
comes to it, she doesn't do it. She doesn't do the same, and she doesn't like it, and now she's using it as a complaint against him
Yeah,
after
yeah.
telling him that she likes him.
yelling ad hominems or
That
trying to get
no, people do this all the time. She doesn't know what an ad hominem is. Ad hominem is a tactic where you insult someone in order to destroy their argument.
Right.
So it's like you make a valid argument, and I go, that argument doesn't work because you're a Nazi. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
like, but what? But you're not actually, or like I say, the reverse ad hominem or the hidden one is Lance saying that your argument is a dog whistle.
Yeah.
Because him saying that means now he doesn't have to debunk your argument, because just saying a dog whistle is an ad hom saying you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
And you're using secret codes to Nazis, so that's why your argument sucks, instead of actually arguing the argument,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what she's saying, but that's not what's happening. Destiny is having the argument with her, arguing the argument, and trying to get her to stay on argument. And she's saying him calling her psychotic and insulting her for not staying on argument is an ad hom, but that's not what it is.
No.
They're just insults.
Yeah.
He's just insult. Just because you're in a debate and someone insults you doesn't make it an ad hom.
If he only
An
said,
ad hom is a specific fallacy.
Yeah.
It's not just because someone's insulting you. You're actually committing the ad hom by saying them insulting you makes their argument invalid, is
Yeah.
what you're saying. But
Like-
it's not true.
if Destiny only responded by saying, "You're psychotic. You're psychotic. I can't even have this conversation because you're psychotic." Then yeah, like I'd agree that he's just throwing an ad hom at her. But he says you're psychotic because this her response has already been discussed. They've already discussed those things, and that's not answering his question. And he keeps asking the question over again. So now he's just like, "Get me out of here!" Like,
Yeah.
just end
Right.
this. Like,
The insults aren't for her argument. He's insulting her for the way she argues, not what her argument is. He's
Yeah.
addressing her arguments.
yeah.
what the reason he's insulting her is because she's not addressing his arguments back. She makes an argument, he makes an argument back, and she dodges that argument over and over again. He gets upset and says, "You're psychotic. You're doing it again. I keep telling you what you're doing, and you do it again and again and again. Like, how do I get you to stop doing that?" You know? So it's frustrating.
Get you on
when he
little
gets mad.
gotchas here
And he
and
insults
there, and seeing if they can just yell over you the most.
Or maybe he was angry and was just yelling over you. It wasn't to try to yell over you the most. It was because he's getting upset and yelling.
It's unnerving to me, and I don't perform well that way. And personally,
But
when
you
it
said you
just
like it
said.
and that you do the same, and now you're saying you don't perform. See what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't
You
stick
can't
to what she
believe
says.
anything this
You
woman
can't believe
said.
what she says then, because she literally told Destiny that she does perform that
Yeah.
way and likes to.
When you and then you
And
act
then
that
when
way,
it happens, she does,
holds it against you.
and then
Like,
she holds it against them for performing that way.
certain topics, I don't think that they should be win-lose. Rather, I would just like both.
if
But then
she
why would
had
you-
her argument, if her argument
go.
was what Destiny agreed with, she'd be like, "I win. I did this."
Yeah.
But Destiny debunks her point, and she's like, he's swinging his dick around here, and he's like, not doing that.
But then why even go on to discuss this with Destiny, who's really hard into the vaccine issue? You know what I'm saying? And then you go on. It really is a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah.
It's like like I said, this is really just a complaint of Destiny not treating her like a princess or treating her with kid gloves. But what's the expectation? Why should he? You know?
Yeah.
Why can't you handle the fire? You said you could handle the heat, so you said you were going to go into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Then you go into the kitchen, you can't handle the heat, so you leave it and you complain to the person who told you that the heat was going to be there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And you said you liked it. So what's the problem here? you know?
Yeah.
Why even bring this up as an issue, you know? It doesn't make sense.
Parties to take some understanding from the other, how the other people feel and what they believe.
But
and
you
why
told him, how can he get that when you communicated the opposite of that? You know?
Yeah.
they feel
so
that
weird.
way, why they believe
Why
that
did
way.
she say that?
I think
Why did she say that she liked it and she did the same? To now take it back and say she doesn't like it.
Exactly.
And then bitch that he didn't realize that after telling him that she liked it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like, just
That's
speak your
what's-
mind. Once again, a woman that cannot just speak up for herself or just say like the truth.
No,
of,
but she
"I
can
don't like
because
that."
she did speak up for herself and then her actions showed
show
the
the
opposite.
opposite. Yeah. She's just like, her truth is just a fake version of the
Mm-hmm.
truth each time. She's not being honest.
That's what I would like to know. Why did she tell Destiny she liked it just
Yeah.
to complain about it later?
Exactly.
Why would she do that? So if she
That's
could be
why-
honest with us, like she made this video and showed that screen cap, why couldn't she be honest with us and say, you know, in this moment I was trying to be cool with him and I said things that maybe she could,
Yeah.
it would make sense for the complaint. But why even do that, right? Like, just be honest about it. But
That's
she
why-
doesn't. She just completely ignores that her own DMs show her saying she's cool with this.
That's why it starts to read to me now as this is just set up to make him look bad, even though she's already said to him, "I'm cool with that, man. We're same. I'm cool with that type of smack talk."
Yeah, I don't get it.
And then she comes back to do this. It's like, it just feels like set up to expose him in this type of way.
Yeah, it's so
when there was
strange.
another understood.
But the only
conversation.
reason I think it's not set up is because how could she not catch herself in
Doing
doing
the
that?
same.
It has to
But
be
she
that she
has no
doesn't notice that.
self-awareness, though. She just doesn't have self-awareness.
Yeah, that's
because
why
she's
I don't
doing
think
it
it's
to
set up
Hunter,
because
too.
she's not self-aware enough to even set this up.
Yeah, that's true. I guess she really does feel this way.
Because if she was setting this up, she would be extra cautious of what she's putting out there to make sure it adds up to what she's setting up. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't. So what I think is she has no self-awareness, so she perceives things a certain way and doesn't recognize that other people can perceive it another way. Like,
Yeah.
she just doesn't even know.
Right.
So the way she perceives it is the truth, and there's no way that it could be wrong. So she just puts it out there with no self-awareness that she's proving herself wrong
That's true.
as she does it, because it's not possible to prove her wrong. Right? Just like it's not possible that
Needed.
Destiny could not have been interested in what she was selling. It
Yeah.
must be a grudge or something. You know?
to get our society to a better place. Whereas in debate bro culture, it's just whoever can yell and peek their mic and bully the other
But
person
that's
the
not
most.
what was happening. What was happening? Oh my god, that face! What was happening? She looks like she's on
I'm
ecstasy or
drunk.
something, or having a stroke.
Yeah.
But the truth was, you guys were having an argument, and he was trying to get you to stay on the argument, and you kept getting off the argument, and it was annoying him.
And then they just
It
pat
wasn't a
themselves-
tactic. It was he was annoyed. That's the another again talking about lack of self-awareness. Instead of understanding that what she was doing was annoying him, of which he explained to her many times, it's very annoying, and you keep doing the thing he's telling you he's finding annoying, and then acting surprised that he's getting mad and thinking that it's a tactic after
Yeah.
he explained so many times that it's annoying. In fact, she's going to show the clips, and in those clips, she shows he's explaining that she's being annoying and that the thing
Yeah.
she's doing is annoying. And she still keeps doing it and shows us multiple clips of her doing the thing he explained is annoying, you know. Then how do you expect
on
them
the
to not
back
get
and
mad
call
and think that
themselves
him
the
getting
winner.
mad
I
is a
can't
tactic?
stand
Yeah.
this type of debate tactic. Okay,
Yeah.
I find it detrimental.
Yeah, a lot of us don't
to
like it either, but people love it. It's people like conflict. What do you want? Get over it. You know?
Yeah.
society as a whole. And this
Not
is why
detrimental to society.
It's really.
I don't do Twitch panels anymore. I actually gave up on them because I really
Is it,
Well, I
though,
mean-
I can't
is
stand.
it because I thought the whole reason why she was walking away from Twitch was because the guy was coming at her, and now her family too.
No, but that's why she's saying that's why she stopped doing the panels, not why she left Twitch,
right,
just the
okay.
panels. But the reason panels are shitty is not because of debate bro culture. Panels are shitty is because you can't debate things in panels. You need one. You have two ideas.
Yeah.
You need a consistent view on one side and a consistent view on the other. If you have a panel, you're going to have too many inconsistencies, too many people wanting to jump in. You can't. You're not going to have enough time for each person. You know,
Yeah.
it's not because of that.
No.
Like the panels in general are a bad idea. Debates should be one-on-one.
People screaming.
There's
over
like
each
MMA.
other.
There's a reason why we don't have 3-on-3 MMA
Yeah.
matches, or 2-on-2, or 5-on-5 MMA matches, or even an 8-man free-for-all MMA match, because it ends up garbage. Like it doesn't work out. It gets too
Just like
too
a mess. Like
yeah, it just turns
chaotic.
into a mess. You better is one-on-one where they can just each have their own tactic and we can see that work out.
I don't feel like it improves society somewhat, and it's
That's why
just not. For me.
debates don't improve society. Okay, no.
So I hope that gives you
Why
some
do you
kind.
Yeah,
do you
that's a
think
weird
does she think the purpose of these panels are to improve society? I don't think anybody
debates
thinks that.
and activists are tied into one
Yeah.
another.
I don't think anybody thinks that. I think the point of those are for entertainment.
Yeah.
Kind of understanding, even you guys who absolutely hate me and think I'm a brain dead moron because I can't yell louder or because
No,
I
people
don't.
think you're a brain dead moron because you don't make good arguments and you do shit like this
Yeah.
where you just don't communicate what's actually happening
Yeah.
properly.
Perform well when somebody's screaming at me, right? Just try to understand that
But
that's
you
not
really
said
the
you
not.
liked
originally
it,
said either,
and then
yeah.
you do the same, so you should be
Haha,
good
I
at it.
like
You
it.
said you were.
And same.
At least admit you were wrong about saying you were. I thought I would like this, and I realize I don't now.
Yeah.
You know, but she doesn't even say it like that.
Where I come from, and understand that before the vaccine mandate debate that I had with Destiny, which I thought was going to be a calm discussion, all I had had with Destiny was calm discussion.
But you
And
also
so-
had a conversation where you guys said things get heated, and you said you liked that, and you know, it's weird that she showed that DM and continually says the opposite on this.
You know what? I don't think she talks to many people like face to face or even through a screen very much because it all their exchange up to that point is just DMs it like back and forth with each other, right? Text. But now that she's actually hearing his actual voice and seeing his actual face in that debate that they have, it's like who is this person?
Yeah.
This is totally different than the person that I've been talking to in my DMs. It's like, who does she think she's talking to? Like, I don't know what she thinks
Yeah, I
Destiny
don't know.
does, but like, this is not different.
There's the
from
same
you.
thing with the Hunter thing where she kind of feels like there's this expectation of loyalty or friendship
Yeah.
from these people, and when they act in ways that like is normal on the internet, she freaks out and takes offense to it. And it's like, well, on top of that, Destiny told her not to take that personally, and she said she wouldn't, you know,
Yeah.
and now she's taking it, and she is taking it personally. It's crazy.
at this particular moment in
Oops.
time, I wasn't expecting anything more than that. And that's why I was a bit thrown off guard by the way he acted. And to be fair, Destiny pushed back on me a lot more than normal during that debate, but overall it
sent
a
was
lot
that
more than
message
normal
to her
because
after
you are
that.
having. There's also a lack of understanding of a difference of opinion. They had discussions where they differed less on the opinion. But now they came to have a vaccine discussion, which Destiny had been exploding on the internet with a very hard position on it.
Yeah.
And then she went to go talk to him with the exact opposite position.
Right.
And thinks that, oh, he pushed back on me more than normal. Like, that's
Are
weird.
you kidding?
Like,
But
that
yeah,
should have
it's
been
like, who are you
expected,
talking to?
considering how hard the stances were on this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I took a stance of charitability towards people who were kind of wanted to wait on more data to come out and were a bit more hesitant and skeptical of the vaccine, on top of a general belief that forcing injections of a substance onto
but
the
you're
public,
not having the debate now. The stances don't matter. What happened is what matters. Now she's selling her stance, but guess what? You're not in a debate now, so you're gonna obviously be more favorable to your stance than his.
Yeah.
I was the
mass
one who had a reasonable stance,
Yeah.
and he was, like, nobody cares.
is a terrible breach of personal autonomy. So that was my stance. Destiny took a more scorched earth stance of extreme hostility to the vaccine
Right,
hesitant.
but she's admitting to knowing this then.
Yeah.
She went into an argument with somebody who has a very scorched earth policy, which she said about stance against people who are anti-man, like, she's literally admitting to how hard of a stance he had going on there and then getting upset that he had that hard of
Yeah.
a stance.
And he
I don't understand this
apologizes.
complaint. What is the complaint
Yeah.
here?
And
I don't
he
get it.
even, after that stream, it looks like that message is sent after where he says, hey, sorry, don't take it. I get a little heated sometimes. Don't take it personally. And she's like, hell no,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Haha, I'm cool with it.
But
and
yet
same.
she's complaining about it. What? I don't understand. What is the complaint, lady? What's going on here? Are you just saying
What
this
was
to
the
say
Now
this?
difference?
What's
during
the
this
point?
talk, I
Yeah.
What's the
also
point of all this in the video? I don't get it.
laid out my credentials.
And
which
then she's
is-
putting it in the perspective of how she's a victim in this. But where? Where are you the victim in this?
included being a scientist
Oh
for
my
a
God.
pharmaceutical
This
company
is-
and
scientist
having
trolls
direct
herself
experience
and she
working
doesn't
with
We get it.
submitting
You're a
drugs to
scientist.
the
You do
FDA
science
for
shit.
approval.
Nobody.
And this wasn't
The
an
thing that she doesn't understand is that nobody gives a shit, and they're all fucking with her and being like, "You're not really this. You're not really that." And she takes so much offense to it that she has to prove. I can't believe they said that I'm not really that. Who gives a shit
Like,
that they think that? Who
Is,
cares?
is she this person that has, I'm a scientist, I know things,
Yeah.
has become a meme? Is this where it started from? Because, like,
But that's
I'm
an
starting
appeal to authority, which is probably what Destiny said to her, and she doesn't want to accept that. But that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
And you're saying, because I'm a scientist, I know better than you, you're not allowed to argue this
Yeah,
with me.
like-
So then why'd you even go on to argue it with him then? Like,
It just sounds
that-
silly.
you didn't go on to have a conversation. You didn't go on to debate then. What you're saying is you went on to lecture him and said, I have an expertise in this and I'm telling you this. And so now you have to agree with me because I have the expertise in
Yeah.
this. That's basically what you're doing. Why even go on then? Why not just put out a tweet and say, I'm the expert on this. I say it's this, and that's it. But instead it's not that. And you're upset that he's not bowing to your expertise basically in an argument.
appeal to authority.
Yeah,
It was
it's appeal to
important
authority.
because this is what I was establishing my expertise in. I
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
saying
fine if you establish it, but then don't use it to say you're right in the argument because you established your
Yeah.
expertise.
yo, I'm a cancer research scientist and I've written tons of research papers and I'm a PhD researcher for a living. All I
Right.
said was
But
that
you know what's funny? I bet you any money this is why he was getting upset. And she's explaining, all I was saying is that I have an expertise in this. I bet she kept repeating that.
Yeah.
I bet that was already established. This is why when she shows the clip, he doesn't really say what was already established, but he's complaining. We already established that. Why do you keep bringing it up, right? I'm betting she keeps bringing that up. When he argues against something she says, she goes, but I have a PhD and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And that's where he's like, we already established that. Why you have a psychosis? Like, I'm asking you a question. You keep bringing up something we've already established that you
Yeah.
have a PhD. Okay, we got that.
Yeah.
Like,
I have experience developing drugs in an R&D environment, developing drugs in what we call a GMP, good manufacturing practice environment, and submitting those drugs up to the FDA for approval. For that reason, a lot of our conversation kind of centered around that personal knowledge of the FDA and the inner workings of Big Pharma that I was hoping to contribute to the conversation with that. Now, although the conversation definitely did get a bit heated, we were still cordial and on good terms in the DMs. I thought that he was just, giving me a bit more pressure, and there was really no problem with
remember,
that.
a bit more pressure. So this is literally, Just so you know, if we have sex, I'm big into anal sex, so I'm most likely gonna put it in your butt, you know. And she says, "Oh, I love that. In fact, yeah, I want you to do that." Okay, and then when it happens, oh, he started putting a bit more pressure on me, and I didn't know why he was doing that, and you know, I don't know why he was treating me this way. It was totally and all our other sexual encounters, we just did vaginal, so I wasn't expecting that, even though they just talked about it, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what's happening here, right?
Right.
It's very strange. And now she's kind of saying that he did something wrong after telling him that it was okay to do this.
Yeah.
At the time. That is until his community, DGG, started to really
Again,
take
his community again. So again, blaming him for things that happen with his community, and also dropping friendships over the community, and as opposed to him, something he did. You know?
Yeah.
at me. During the discussion, they were coming into my Twitch chat with a lot of hateful and what I would consider to be misogynistic comments. And then afterwards,
And you know
they
what?
were spamming
Like,
my Twitter.
Destiny gets a lot of hate. Some of it's, I'm sure, validated and everything like that. Valid, excuse me. But, you know, for the whole, like, community complaint that she's going to bring up here, he does a pretty good job of actually removing those people from how it sounds.
Yeah, he bans
Maybe,
people,
like,
yeah.
he says that he bans them. Any association with other communities, like, starting to spread hate to other people. He does, like, a pretty good job of, like, squashing
But
that.
that's also
and
an annoying thing too. When you're big
Yeah.
enough, you're gonna have bad apples in your audience.
Exactly.
And he's constantly getting complaints from people about his audience.
Yeah.
I can understand that being annoying too. And it's just like, dude, if you should know this, if you deal with me, you should know the audience comes with that. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And if you don't want that to happen, don't deal with me.
Like,
you know?
even that,
You know, I'm an online persona with an audience that's huge, and there's a portion of that can be bad. Why don't deal with me
Yeah.
then? You know, like
even-
but she's looking to deal with him. She wants the attention
Right.
from him, but then she doesn't want the audience part of it.
like, yeah, like, it's just not good enough. Like, he doesn't even have to do that bit
Mm-hmm.
of, like, managing for people being inappropriate with language to other people and stuff. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to do that. But because just any bit of push on this lady happens to exist, it's now Destiny's problem that he has to account for, which is just
Mm-hmm. So it's like, I
ridiculous.
want to have this interaction with this YouTuber who's huge. I want it to go this way. Oh, it didn't go that way. That's his fault. And now it didn't go that way, and now I have his audience after me. Now it's a bad thing, you know. But
Yeah.
you're the one who looked for that interaction.
Yeah.
Which is again what I say. She keeps starting things and then not liking where they go,
Yeah.
and then flipping it as
then-
if she's the victim when she was the one who looked for the interaction
Right.
and started the entire thing.
Yeah.
And even my Instagram posts with nasty, hateful comments. Now, the next day, Destiny or Destiny's publisher
Right, but when
published
that
a
happens to anyone else, you didn't say shit, you didn't care, and also still interacted with him, knowing that other people have gone through this, that his audience has gone after other people. It's a constant complaint with him. I've seen
Yeah.
it for years. You know, it's a constant complaint. People complain about his community like crazy all the time. But yet it's a surprise to her, or
When
she
it
doesn't,
happens.
or it's not a problem when it happens to anyone else, just
Yeah.
to her. Whereas her videos complaining about this for years with Destiny, you know, there is none.
YouTube video that
only 'cause it's
unfairly
happening to her.
labeled me as a conservative, which I think was clickbait.
Is she not a conservative though?
I mean,
I want
I
to
would
know, is she
argue
or
that
isn't
she
she?
is.
Like,
Yeah.
from her stances, what I've seen, she seems like a conservative.
Unless she's going to argue that she's a libertarian or something.
Where
but I
isn't she a
don't
conservative?
know.
right?
Yeah.
And I understand that Destiny doesn't make those thumbnails, but seeing that bad faith representation of our conversation was a little bit jarring to me. There were over 3,000 comments on that video, and a lot of them were just speculating
There she goes,
about my
going
credentials.
into the comments and getting offended that people aren't believing in her credentials in the comments. Like, who cares what the
cares?
comment section says or what they think of you? Who cares?
Calling me dumb, calling me brain dead, insulting my intelligence over and over and over, saying things like, well,
Here's
she
the one I was
prob-
talking about. Random Arabic name from somewhere, who knows where, questioning it whether she's a scientist or not. Who cares?
Who cares?
Also, I am a single mom with 3 kids and 4 jobs. Who cares? There's some random dude from another country, has nothing to do with this, doesn't
Yeah.
know you in any way. Who cares? This other one. Notice their name is what, Shipbreaker or something?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm willing to bet she's one of the hot sales rep they send around to doctors. who cares what these
Who
people
cares?
think? They're random people.
Yeah.
Like, it's so strange. But this
Probably
is
just
part
because-
of the narcissism. Like, oh, I can't have people not liking me or not believing me on the internet. You're going to put yourself in public. People are going to not believe you anyway, regardless. In fact, you can make a video and show your credentials, and there'll still be
They'll
people who won't
still-
believe them. They'll
yeah.
think you forged the credentials. There's people who think we faked going to the moon. There's people who
Yeah.
think that NASA is faking the Earth being flat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
People
and then you're
believe
gonna
a crazy
complain
thing.
about some random dude from another country not
Who is
believing.
this
Who
person to
cares?
you, and why are they relevant?
Who cares? You can't even read their name. Who
But
cares?
she goes from Reddit to YouTube,
YouTube
to
comment.
anywhere else.
Yeah,
that
she was talking about the
comments,
3,000 comments on that video. She wasn't talking about Reddit, but then she puts a
like, she
Reddit
put-
post.
That's
You know what I'm
Reddit.
saying?
I know
That's how
that.
far she's stretching these
Yeah.
complaints. Like,
receptionist, or she's lying, she worked in sales,
cares?
all implying that I was lying
all
about my role
implying,
of being a
but she just showed
scientist.
us two from two different things. But again, who
Who
cares?
cares?
Who cares if they don't believe you? That
Now,
doesn't
regardless,
matter. To
I
a
had
person
nothing-
who's secure, that wouldn't matter. It's only to an insecure person that they would make a whole video saying
Yeah.
his audience didn't believe these random people from around the world that watch this thing. You know, who cares?
Who cares?
but good experiences with Destiny up to that point. So I did again try to remain cordial in
Getting
our
hot.
DMs with each other afterwards. At one point after that, I was talking to him about getting vaccinated, and I disclosed to him some health information regarding a blood clot that I got after
Right.
a specific.
So I like how she just tweets him out of the blue. It looks like after they already had that argument,
Yeah.
and seems to not be cool. So she contacts him out of the blue to again look for sympathy. So I thought this might interest you. You know, I had a life-threatening blood clot a few months ago, right? Why would that interest him? Like, this is what I'm talking about, where she wants to be treated as a friend or as a princess around him, and you
Yeah.
just, you know, you're just another person on the internet. Have you not noticed how he goes through friends on the internet? How he was friends with Hassan, that fell apart. Now then there were enemies. He was friends with Vosh, that fell apart. Then there were enemies. He was friends with Lance, that fell apart. Then there were enemies. But for some reason, people
This
keep
is-
trying to befriend him and think they're friends. Like,
Yeah.
well, what's going on here? This is like the same thing with Andy and Ralph. How they all thought they were friends. We're all friends, and but they
mentor
backstab
guy.
someone else, and they
Yeah.
think that they're not gonna get backstabbed themselves.
Yeah.
I'm friends with this guy who backstabs all his friends, but he's not gonna backstab
Yeah.
me. You know.
Oh, it's all in good fun that we're all just like ribbing on each other, but trying to destroy each other's lives in the process
Yeah.
of this good.
How do you not
friendly
understand
ribbing?
how
Like,
this works? And you think Destiny's gonna be your friend, like, and not treat you the way he treats everybody else he befriends on the internet? My doctor finally approved me for the vaccine, so I got my first dose of Pfizer a few weeks ago. I was diagnosed with another blood clot on Wednesday. Doc said I can't get the second dose. She also says I am the first person she has granted medical exemption to the vaccine for. The news and media are making it seem like exemptions don't exist. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think the news or the media did that at all. Like,
No.
I
Do you
think
know why you probably don't hear about exemptions? Because it's personal. It's personal medical information for that specific person.
now that, and it's rare too. Only a few people are going to be
Yeah.
exempt. It's not a huge. Maybe they're making it seem like there aren't a shit ton of exemptions out
Yeah.
there, but that doesn't mean they're making it seem like there's none at all. I think that's just you. Again, this girl doesn't see what's being communicated. She perceives things a certain way and then takes them as fact. So now she perceived the news treating it like that. So now she thinks they're all doing that and that's what's going on. But
Yeah.
that hasn't happened. They are rare, but they do exist. So yeah. So what do you think the outcome will be for medical exemptions? Will business employers conventionally accommodate us, or are we just shit out of
She's gonna be one of those
sick
people.
collateral damage? And then he said, "I love you, okay, heart." You know what? That he's being sarcastic there. He's being like, "Yeah, I get it. You're looking
don't
for me
care."
to tell you
Yeah.
that I care
Yeah.
about you and that I love you. So here it is. I love you, okay? Now
And
leave me
here's the
alone."
heart. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
here's a little heart emoji. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
All right. I care about you. Leave me alone.
Now-
Because that's what this is.
Yeah.
This is looking for sympathy, basically. You know. He's like, all right, I get it. So remember earlier she said he's flirty because she's saying I love you to her. Now look at the context, right? Is this the one instance, or did he do it another time that she's talking about, or is this the time she's talking about? Because here he's being sarcastic. It's
Yeah.
obvious he's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
It's being like, you want this kind of attention to me. Here it is.
It is.
There's the attention that you wanted. You
Now
know.
leave me alone.
Now leave me
Please.
alone. I'm busy. You know, like stop talking to me about your health problems. I'm not interested.
specific shot, to which he replied, "I love you, okay," with the heart emoji. And then after
She didn't
this,
say
now,
what that
She
meant. You
got
notice
her
how
hug,
she just moved on to the
basically.
next
Yeah.
thing.
Like,
Not
there,
explained.
here's your
October,
hug.
that's when I approached
October. Now she's bothering again. Hey, would you want to talk sometime about gun safety and the Alec Baldwin thing? I think we kind of disagree on gun rules not applying to actors. Anytime, full, again, all caps.
Sure.
And it shows like he's annoyed, like he has a hard stance. Again, another time she's trying to argue with him on something he has a hard stance on. Sweet. I'm off work on disability because I'm all fucked up. What times do you want to stream? All the time. We could chat tonight if you want. See, already he's being kind of standoffish. We can chat tonight if you want. LMFAO, well, I just ate 2 Percocet and I'm getting ready for meal prep. Feel tomorrow night Eastern? I think so, yeah. So they set that up.
Destiny about the whole Alec Baldwin thing to see if he wanted to talk about it. And mind you, this was only a couple weeks after I told him about my blood clot. He knew that I was having
Okay,
health
so now
problems.
mind
then
you,
and
why-
in the
how
DMs,
she's setting
I
this
was
up. She's setting this up. Mind you, he knows I'm having all these health issues, as if because I'm having these health issues, I'm asking him to debate with me. But because I'm having these health issues, he should be treating me with kid gloves and a princess. Again, every time they discuss and she's not treated like a princess, she always wants to set it up. Mind you, he knew this, so he should have been treating me like a princess. This
Yeah.
is kind of what she's saying, right?
Yeah.
It's so
But
crazy.
Why say, oh,
Who cares that
I've
she
got
had-
all the time to do this because I'm not working. I'm all
cares?
fucked up on my pain
Yeah, if it's an
medication.
issue for you to be in a debate while you had having these medical problems, don't do debates, right? Why are you doing them?
actually turning down a discussion with him about Alec Baldwin
But then
because
you would
I
agree
told
to
him
one for the next night. So the next night you're good with that, right?
Yeah.
I'm very sick right now. I had like at the time like a huge hemorrhage
And
in my
we
arm,
get it. You were sick,
my hematoma.
but that doesn't
Actually
mean
just-
that he should treat
They
you
did
with
them.
kid gloves. That means you shouldn't go on a debate with him if you don't want him to treat you the way you would treat a normal person on debate. There's like handicapped people, like how they tell you they don't want to be treated like they're handicapped. She's the opposite.
Yeah.
She's the kind of person who would become handicapped and
And
now she
love
wants to be treated special by
Yeah.
everyone because she's in a wheelchair or something.
Yeah.
You know? As opposed to being like, no, just treat me like everyone else. Don't, you know.
had surgery for it, and
Just
I'm
she's doing it
listening.
like, oh, feel bad for me. I had
lifted
surgery.
my arm
Feel bad for me.
and hurt.
I had surgery on
Feel
that
bad
2
that
weeks ago.
Destiny got angry with me during a debate and didn't treat me like a princess because I had this, you know.
You know what?
Oh,
I'll tell you
but at the
something
time,
funny
I was in a
that
lot of-
what I used to do when I was like in grade 1. I liked going to the nurse's office because you'd get the ice pack and she'd give you like a lollipop piece of candy. So I used to pretend that my ankle was hurt sometimes just to get the ice and just to get the lollipop. And
That's what I'm
she's
saying, where
doing
she
it.
acts like a child. Like she acts like a child where like any type of, oh, I'm feeling sick, so you have to treat me like a baby.
Yeah.
You know, that's what a child is like. Adults don't have that.
pain. I was ill.
Adults don't
I
go
was-
to work feeling sick and expecting to be treated any different. They're going to do their work as if they weren't sick. That's why you went to work sick, is to do work. If not, you would have stayed home if
Exactly.
you weren't good enough to go to work, right? And work like you
I
normally
can't
do.
get sick right now. I just can't get sick right now.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
sick. Man, you're sick. Just go home.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, yeah, she's the opposite. She wouldn't be one of those people.
was on pain medications, and so I told him that I was really actually pretty unwell and didn't feel up to doing the discussion. And he was pretty cordial and nice about it and offered, hey, how about tomorrow? And I said, okay, well, yeah, I guess I'll try to come on tomorrow. But I think that overall he knew that I was
Then
feeling
don't
kind of
go
unwell at
on.
the time. And then the Baldwin debate happened, and that was my worst experience with Destiny
Because you were
I
being
honestly
very
felt
annoying.
like we would agree with some things. And again, I didn't
But now
expect
listen, now she's upset. It's not, she went in already expecting they would agree on something. Why? When you knew you had opposite opinions on this. Why does she keep thinking it's going to be more
Yeah.
agreed upon? But
you know
also,
what?
just because you have an expectation doesn't mean it's bad that that expectation didn't happen.
Yeah.
You expect to be stuff, but that doesn't mean it's the fact that you didn't means now that you shouldn't act the way you did, right?
Like,
You bringing up that your expectation is useless here. really
This-
is irrelevant.
This makes me think of that conversation that whatever that panel that Destiny was on, where the four women were on Lauren Southern's. I almost called her Liz for some reason, but on Lauren Southern's, they were talking about protecting children from pedophiles, and if they were getting therapy, Destiny said that it's a good thing if they're actually benefiting from it or not. And there was more to that, but basically, my thought, but it was that. Oh no, I found it. That Destiny, if they all just agree, pedophilia is bad. That's the end of that. Destiny doesn't like to have those conversations when it's just okay. We agree. Like, why? What's the purpose of us agreeing? Like, isn't there some pushback here or something like that? Like, that's what makes it interesting. So I don't understand why she would think that he's just gonna.
That reminds me of
agree.
the other bad faith thing, because she was saying they represent her in bad faith, her arguments, but she's the one going around saying that Hunter. That's what started the beef for Hunter. She's going around saying Hunter was a pedophile apologist or something, being apologetic to or sympathetic towards them. She was saying the same thing. She said the same thing about Destiny, which are bad faith representations of what they said. Their sympathy isn't for the pedophile; it's for the child who gets abused.
To turn into a debate. Once again, I hadn't learned my lesson, I guess.
No,
I was
not
hoping
just
that
that.
Again,
yet
your
to
fault,
happen.
and you're
She's
admitting
still-
it's your fault. You're complaining about
Yeah.
something you did to yourself,
the vaccine mandate
and
turned
calling and
bad
saying he's two-faced for something you did to yourself.
Like, she needs
was
to
kind
think
of just
past,
like
she needs to think past the point that she thinks just that's the end all be all and that's what shuts down the conversation. She needs to think past that because somebody's going to push her on the thing that she thinks
Yeah, she's
is
just
like,
upset she isn't being treated like a princess on
Yeah,
the internet.
yeah.
It's like, that's not the way the internet works. You're not going to be treated like a princess.
a one-off after many cordial conversations with Destiny. And so I really wasn't expecting such a trivial issue like Alec Baldwin to become this big of a thing. I mean, when you look at
But it
vaccine
wasn't the
mandates,
issue that became a problem. It was the way she was arguing that became a problem,
Yeah.
not the issue itself.
yeah.
that's like
The issue
a
itself,
lot.
he was fine arguing. You were having a fine argument, most likely, until you started dodging his questions and his arguments. And it was the tactic that made him upset, not the issue. The issue itself was being argued on.
More important to the world than that whole Alec Baldwin Russ situation. Like, who really fucking cares about that? And
Well,
I'm a
obviously
firearms
you
trainer.
did. You went on to debate him.
Yeah.
Why would you go on to debate him on it if it's something that nobody cares about? Obviously, he cares about it, because when you asked him, he responded in all caps, anytime I will
Anytime.
debate this. As in, yeah, I feel real strongly about this. Let's do it. But you're saying, who cares about that? But he made it kind of obvious that he does, and you were the one who brought up the attack that debate, almost as if it was something.
I felt like I was making good points, but in retrospect, I had been quite unwell. Again, I was on a lot of serious medication.
So they were bad points then?
And like I said before, I don't do well under debate bro tactics.
What was the debate bro tactic? I like that she keeps saying that, and she keeps saying those ad homs and stuff, but she's not showing any examples of it. It's just making me think it's not what it was.
No. Like, if she, like, this is like, you have an assignment and it's due and you get it back and the teacher's just like, you did awful on this. And you're like, well, I wasn't feeling well and I had like this going on and I had that going on. And so my attention was elsewhere. And that's why I didn't do as well.
But
as I
then why
did.
make a video calling Destiny Two-Faced to have that explanation? You should have done that after that video and say, oh, you know what, I wasn't feeling well, so I messed up on that debate,
do this
whatever, we'll
again.
get well.
Yeah.
We'll move on. It went, we communicated badly or whatever. But instead, she's using it to say that he's a bad person for treating her as he should, basically.
Yeah.
And I've said that publicly
And saying
many
debate bro
times.
tactics to him getting annoyed because she's giving bad arguments and not arguing,
So, of course, rather than having a calm discussion, Destiny came straight out the gate screaming at me.
Straight out the
Well,
gate, I doubt
discussion.
that. And even from the clips she shows, he explains all the times he's yelling. It's not like it's straight out the gate for
Yeah,
no reason.
yeah.
It's because she keeps dodging and stuff.
Bullying me, purposely twisting my words,
When
making it.
she's saying all these things
She's
and
saying
shows
bullying.
heroes examples of this. One of these days we're gonna go over that debate and see it, and we'll write down all the things she's saying about it here and see if it's
Yeah.
true. We'll
Yeah.
see if we can find these moments.
seem like I was unaware of the facts surrounding the case and just other tactics that I consider to be generally bad
Is
faith.
questioning you something you are saying? It seems like he's saying this because questioning you doesn't mean that. It's just asking you questions.
Yeah.
So like this, I've seen this before. That's why I asked this. But when she's saying he's making it just like she did with the news. He's saying he's making it seem like I don't know the details of the case. By saying that, does that mean in the debate that he was asking you questions about about the details? If he's asking you questions about the details, that's not making you seem like anything. That's asking you questions. You know? That's clarifying things.
At one point, he even just went off the deep end and started screaming at me, saying, "You're psychotic. Blanks can kill."
Now she's gonna show.
She does.
He's gonna call her psychotic, and then she's gonna say, "Why are you calling me that?" And he's gonna explain it. But she's saying now, remember, she just explained it as he's calling her that for no reason.
Yeah.
Even though he's just about to explain it, but no reason. He just flew off the handle, and started calling me psychotic.
Pointing a firearm at yourself or anyone else. Never place your finger on the trigger till you're ready to shoot. Anyone involved in using a firearm must be thoroughly briefed.
This is psychosis. You're doing it again. Do you understand?
But how is it psychosis? I'm reading from BBC.
Because you're repeating things at me that we've already established are not true. That there are going to be times when you're.
I think it's because this would be my argument, right? Because she was saying, I remember some parts of this debate, and she was saying, "Oh, any trained person with a gun knows that, or a gun owner knows this," and it's like Alec Baldwin's not a gun owner, so that doesn't apply to him.
Yeah.
So right now she just read something about any trained professional knows that. So I think what he's saying, we've already established he's not a trained professional. He's not a trained gun owner.
Yeah.
You know? We've already established that. And I think that's why he keeps saying, you keep bringing this up, but we've already established it. Which is something that's annoying.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Okay, okay, gotcha. You're just
Jesus.
saying random shit out loud. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, this is
All
psychosis.
right, so she's saying he's psychotic. He's saying she's psychotic. She's saying it's for no reason. Already, the first time he said it, he explained it's because she's saying
She's been
something
through this.
that's already been established,
Yeah.
repeating herself. And all right, so we're just saying random things, fine. Instead of advancing the argument, we're sticking to the same points and repeating them over and over again. Fine, psychotic.
This
be
is
able to
psychosis.
see it.
You're being psychotic. Okay, you're
Why
talking.
why is this your new favorite word? I've never even
Because
heard you say
I'm
this
starting to
before.
notice more that when I talk with people, they can't engage with the conversation. and you're
He's
doing
getting
it.
upset. He's saying this happens all the time. It's annoying, that people can't engage with the argument.
This really fucking annoying thing where instead of answering a question, as soon as I ask you, like, do you think that 1 + 1 = 2? You go,
You're
well,
doing
1
this
+
annoying
1
thing
could
by-
have this
Right, you
mathematical
notice-
property.
She's saying he's doing it for no reason. He's explaining why he's calling her psychotic, and she cuts him off and starts saying other stuff. So what it is when something like this happens, she shuts down.
Yeah.
So she's completely shut down from him explaining why he's calling her psychotic. She's not listening to what he's saying at all. In her head, she's thinking, why, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're saying this. Blah, blah. So she's not listening. And now, in retrospect, she's like, he's doing it for no reason. Even though she's watched the video over and sees him explaining it.
Yeah.
But she shuts down.
Where other things happen, and I live in California, and I pay all these taxes, and you're saying a whole bunch of random shit that has nothing to do with the question I'm asking. So my question was very simply do you think that should is the same thing as should be
asking
allowed
again.
to? I don't care about your opinions on gun safety or how you think the protocol should be or what you think. I'm just asking, do you think that those two things are the same thing? Should and should be allowed to?
There's another one talk from the SAC.
I say it cuts there, so I don't even know if she answered that question. But if that's the question, she's obviously not answering it.
Guild that talks about never pointing a gun
About a
at
guild.
any
Does it again.
Alec Baldwin's not part of any guild.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so why would he?
one.
This is
Yeah, see, that's why I'm
I
saying this.
get
Because he
his
keep bringing up
frustration. Like, I get
stuff
it.
that he's not, rules about things that he's not. Like,
Do it again. Okay, I love
What
you.
do you
It's been
mean?
fun.
yeah,
I
see,
don't-
and he
I
can't
don't
do
know.
it anymore.
Like,
He's like,
yeah.
all right, I love you, but I'm out of here. I can't do
This
this
is why
anymore.
he's heated and stuff, and people just say, "Oh, he just yells and freaks out for no reason." Like this happened so many times, and she's only showing a portion of how many times.
No,
it's
and this is
happened.
where she's
Like,
taking it personal after he said, when we get heated, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Like, don't take it personal, I'm leaving. That's why he's like, I love you, but I'm out of here.
There's
Like,
nothing there
we're
to say.
cool,
Yeah.
but you're frustrating me to the point right now that I want to end this and we'll communicate another time.
Yeah.
But let's just move on from this.
How many times?
And this is all for my relatively mild take that
It's
Alec
not
Baldwin.
from the mild take. It has nothing to do with any
Yeah.
take, and the mild take would be you think it's mild. It doesn't mean he thinks it's mild. The point of the debate is that you have different opinions. So your take isn't mild to him because he has the complete opposite opinion, right? So like, it's not mild from his side.
Baldwin deserves some of the blame for the shooting.
That's a whole. I'm not going to go into that argument,
yeah.
but I don't think he does. It maybe from his co-producer stance, but as an actor, I don't think he deserves any of the blame.
Yeah.
Because he never, as an actor, signed on to say, "I take full responsibility for this. I have been trained, and my contract and the studio says I have to be trained with this many hours of gun safety in order to operate a gun." That's not in the contract. So it shouldn't be expected.
Yeah.
If I go to a job and I say, and they don't tell me that security is part of the job, then I don't think I should have to chase down somebody and have the skill and go myself to take martial arts training in order to fucking subdue somebody who's stealing when I didn't sign a contract that says that's part of my contract, right? Like, that's what I'm saying.
This whole issue is going to get chiseled down to
it
being
makes no
an
sense.
issue of morality. It's going to come down to the same
And
issue
I
of
can understand the
morality.
frustration because I've gotten this argument a bunch too, where they're like, anybody who's handled guns knows that, Alec Baldwin's not a person who handles guns. He's an actor. Well, gun owners all know that he's not a gun owner.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the safety, he's not a safety instructor. You know what I'm saying? He's none of these things.
Oh.
The responsibility lies on the person who takes responsibility for him.
Yeah.
And they get paid for that. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think the frustration comes from. Because I think he's saying Alec Baldwin's not a gun owner. He's not a trained gun user. So somebody is being paid to take that responsibility for him.
Right.
That's the person who's liable. Now, she said that, and then she keeps repeating, but the guild says this, but gun owners all know that, but when you take gun training, they teach you that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how many times are we going to go over this, right?
Not every
Sounds
actor
crazy.
is a method actor and is interested in firearms or owns firearms. Like, not to expect
No,
that.
it's fine if you personally want to take that interest in it and take those trainings, but if it's not on your contract, you're not responsible for that.
And
You know
that
what I'm
shouldn't
saying?
be the expectation placed on everybody.
And if you wanted to be held responsible for that, then you'd think it would be part of the contract that the studio will pay for you to take that training, take the time for you to take that training, and pay for your time,
Yeah.
and all that stuff to train you. But if they don't, then you expect that they would have paid someone else to take that responsibility for you, right?
Because
I bring this to the cars. Like, when someone has their permit, regardless of age, they are not responsible behind the wheel. The point of the permit says that you have to have somebody who has a certain amount of experience driving next to you when you drive in the vehicle. Why? Because they're the ones who take the liability for you. We are under the understanding that you are not an experienced driver, but at some point you have to let unexperienced drivers drive.
Yeah.
So you get a permit so that the person who is experienced will take the liability for that person. Now, if I'm driving and I crash, as a person with a permit, it's not I don't take the liability. The licensed driver does, right? So on set, if you have an unexperienced person handling a gun, the licensed gun safety person handles that. If we're doing a stunt that requires a harness, the actor doesn't take responsibility for the harness. The safety harness person does, and they come and double check and triple check the harness and make sure you're good. You as an actor shouldn't be fucking with the harness because that another person has liability for it. So if I as the actor fuck with the harness and it falls, I just put the blame on someone else. Like, I just fucked up someone else, and now they're liable under contract for that because I fucked with it and I just screwed that person's life. It's that simple, but she doesn't understand.
Gone at a person and pulled the trigger. I guess we still have to wait for all the facts to come out in the trial.
And if he takes liability, it's as a producer, not as an actor.
Which will be very, very interesting. I can't wait for that to happen.
Once again, she's just so true to BX Backtrack because nobody cares. Nobody cares about this issue.
Oh yeah, but I can't wait for the trial.
But I'm going to be all over that.
So basically, she does care, and she does care to get the win and the dunk. You know.
But I thought that the discussion, he was really bullying me, really pressuring me. I was feeling unwell.
Bullying you to stay on the argument. Yeah, I wouldn't call it bullying, but if she calls that bullying, the point there is a reason for that, and it's for you to stay on the argument and stop trying to weasel out of what
Yeah.
he's asking. I mean, did she answer that? The should do and should be allowed to. That those are they
Yeah.
the same thing? Like,
I
did she
wondered.
answer that? But
And actually, at one point, at the kind of towards the end of the debate, you can kind of see me just zone out. I just zoned out, and it felt weird. It felt uncharacteristic of Destiny, to be frank. I was just kind of angry and
what is it
disappointed in him.
What is it
I
that
just
made
couldn't
her
figure out.
feel zoned out and shut down? Was it that she just had some pain medication? Was it that she was not feeling well? Or was it that she was bullied? Because she said a whole bunch of shit, and now I don't know what.
well, I mean,
when
it could be a
was.
combination of all those things, but none of them are Destiny's fault. That's all her fault for
Yeah.
going on a debate like that and then not answering questions
Yeah.
and trying to dodge debate and then getting angry that he got upset that you're dodging shit. Like, huh? It doesn't make any sense.
Why he was coming at me with such intensity, whereas we
He
normally have
explained to you why multiple times and you didn't receive it. You even showed it in the video clips why he did that.
had, calm discussions, and it was odd, and I
Tried
couldn't
to have a
help
calm
it.
discussion with you. You kept doing something that he explained to you as annoying, and you kept doing it. Imagine this happening to her, and Destiny did something, and she said, "Look, I find it really annoying when you do that." And then he does it again. She's gonna get upset,
Yeah.
right? But when that happens the other way around, he's supposed to be super cool over and over again, even though you do something that he said is annoying
Yeah.
5-6 times in a row, and he's supposed to stay calm about it. Like,
To wonder if he knew I was in a bad place, kind of sick and on medications. He knew I was in the public spotlight for an unpopular opinion unrelated to this.
what was the?
He knew that it.
I guess that what she thinks how the Alec Baldwin situation should have been handled.
that's an
I guess
unpopular
that's an
opinion?
unpopular opinion.
I think that was kind of split.
And the vaccine thing, the vaccine stuff from before
Would
process.
be
Yes,
probably popular to attack me, and he knew that I was feeling vulnerable at that time, and I think that could be why he used that tactic on
There
me
was
that
no
day.
tactic. He was annoyed. Being annoyed isn't a tactic. It's being annoyed. It's being frustrated.
And sadly, it worked really well because
It's
it
weird because he's literally saying it's annoying and he looks frustrated. You can tell he's frustrated. So why is it he should work on kids' gloves with you and be nice to you and take you charitably when you're in a bad mood or something's wrong with you? But when he's in a bad mood or annoyed or frustrated, you don't take him charitably and you're saying it's a tactic he used,
Yeah.
right? So why can't he be like, oh, she DM'd me about her not feeling well and being on Percocet or whatever as a tactic? Why can't he say that?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
This is where I say that she does things but doesn't see that people can do that right back to her.
Factor,
You know?
yeah.
one point towards the end, you can see where I just kind of
already said
clammed
that.
up and stopped talking and just kind of made because
Kind
I
of
simply was
present
not
yourself as a
responding
victim.
well to that kind of bullying and pressure. So during this conversation, Destiny became like wildly enraged and eventually just hung up on me. At which point I still tried to keep our bridge intact by sending him a heart emoji like he'd sent me before. And more than anything, I think I was just confused. Plus people were telling me he was just mad because he lost a game of League of Legends.
All right, so
I
if he was in
wondering-
a bad mood, instead of being charitable and being like, oh, well, he was in a bad mood, that's fine. He does say he gets heated sometimes.
Yeah.
Why not just be charitable? But instead, she turns it into it's a tactic and he did it on purpose.
Yeah. She's like, no,
I
I'm
think this
having
is
the
some
bad
sort
day.
of
I'm having the bad day. You can't have the
Yeah,
bad day. Now,
exactly.
at the
So
same time, I
why
can't.
couldn't it be like you guys just both had a bad day?
Yeah.
one off for him or two off, I guess, because the vaccine mandate discussion got a little heated as well. So I thought maybe he would kind of be apologetic, and he did. He sent me a heart emoji, and then that's when I
After she
sent him a
did,
photo.
she sent the heart emoji. He sent it back, kind of like a
The next day.
which is just means here's a peace offering, no hard feelings, basically. And he sent the heart back, also saying, yeah, no hard feelings. Like you said before, I get heated during arguments, don't take it personal.
Yeah.
So he's not the one taking it personal, she
Yeah.
is, right?
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm in the hospital, not because of brain aneurysm. Just kidding, just another blood clot. Well, geez. It's cool if I die, I die. Your community is rough, bro. Like, again wanting sympathy. You're
Yeah.
you're just attention whoring, basically. You're looking for attention
of
from
my me from
and
the
sympathy.
hospital bed because like
And to be
actually
treated
later
a
that
certain way
day
by 'em, like-
I had to go to the hospital and I ended up having another problem with my blood clot, and I was joking at him that it was because of him, and then I told him that his community was rough, just referencing the
Okay,
trolling
she's
he
and
hears
supposed
that
to
all the
be
time. He
joking.
knows that already. Who cares?
Listen to how she says that though. She's supposed to be joking, and she says like, "But yo, like your community is just like."
And she did put a
off."
laughing face after that.
Yeah.
Like, damn, they're rough. Ha ha ha.
But she's saying
But
it
she's
like
saying it
it's
now
for
like it's
real.
deadly serious.
Yeah, yeah.
hate that I received
The
from the
hate,
BGB
why are you laughing
community.
about
And
it
it was
then?
the same type of disparaging and discrediting comments that they used during
But
the
also, who cares? It's all the
vaccine.
same thing. And then look, she's saying this as if they're coming to her. But the truth is, that was a Destiny video. And then she's scrolling down in the comments. So
Yeah.
she's calling hate coming at her as in they're in his comment section that she's looking at. So this is a big issue
They're-
of
they're
just
not
don't look
coming
at the
to her.
comments
Yeah.
if they're going to bother you like that.
mandate discussion where basically they were trying to discredit me and say, sure, I'm sure
In
she's
his
a firearm.
comments, who cares? They're not coming at you.
Yeah.
You just said they were coming at you, but they're not. They're
She,
in his
you know,
comments.
why
Arms
she says that
instructor.
they come
How
in-
could she
She
possibly
says that
be a
they come to her social medias, to her Instagram stuff. Why hasn't any of that been shared as the example of these mean comments being used? But
And I think
goes
she
to
eggs
his-
it on because she did the same thing with Hunter and says, "Oh, Hunter makes all these videos about me,"
Yeah.
but all the videos he made about her are replies to her
Yeah,
talking about him in the first place. So I think she puts stuff out there. I mean, gets mad that people come to her defending Destiny when she's
Yeah.
the one tweeting about him,
she
and
thinks.
then they should pop up there telling her shit. Oh, you fucking liar! This
Yeah.
that.
career scientist and a firearms instructor? Like, how do people have jobs and also have hobbies? Weird. So our next exchange
but
in the
who
But
DM
she
is kind
doesn't
of
use
important
it as
because
just a
it's where I
job. She
ask.
doesn't present it as just a job. She says, "These are my credentials, and suck it," basically.
Yeah.
Like,
But who cares either? But people don't believe you.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's the internet. You're gonna expect people to not believe. Hey, dude, can I ask you a huge favor? Can you delete this Reddit post? I mentioned this to CTV today. But I don't think he even runs the Reddit. So how does he delete Reddit posts? Right? He doesn't run his own Reddit thing. I think that's up somebody else. Can you delete this Reddit post? I mentioned to CTV today, kind of in passing. I probably wouldn't have said anything again about it because I don't want to draw attention to the person. I deleted the Twitch clip, but yeah, basically there's a guy on every Reddit thread about me on a sub who claims to have worked with me. Yeah.
Destiny to address a particular hater in his Reddit and YouTube
Yeah.
not a
comments.
huge
So you
deal.
Notice how annoying
It's not
she
a
is.
huge deal.
No,
But it's a
that,
huge
but
deal.
notice how annoying she is, and then on top of that, she has problems with the dude, but then expects favors from him. This is what I'm talking about, this weird expectation she has. Like, we're not cool. I'm pissed off at the way you treated me, but hey, can you do me this huge favor? Like, what? Why?
Yeah, and it's not a huge deal, and I don't want to draw attention to it. But watch me, look at me go. I'm drawing attention to this thing
He's
now.
not your friend. Stop treating it like he's your friend. He's not your friend.
Remember when I was saying that there was a ton of people claiming that I was lying about my pharma credentials? And there were quite a few disturbing comments on some of Destiny's videos and in the Reddit
Again,
threads where
who
people
cares if people are fucking
Yeah.
denying your credentials? Why does that matter? Or why should that matter to Destiny? Destiny should confront his audience and be like, stop saying she's not, doesn't have credentials. She does. Like, who cares? Yes, in one of her debates with Destiny, she claimed to be a scientist that worked at a pharmaceutical company. The more they got into the debate, the more it became pretty clear. Yeah, who cares? Again, somebody in Reddit saying she
were
doesn't
deep diving me,
a
trying
little research myself, but have been unable to find out what she actually did at the company. Yes, so.
to find my
So she's
name,
saying that's a
try-
dox. Somebody trying to verify her credentials. She's saying it's doxing. I don't think it is. Nobody here said anything about doxing.
Yeah,
trying to figure out where I work.
See,
You know what?
she
Anybody-
turned him. She turned this guy saying, "I don't believe that she's a scientist. I'm trying to find her credentials, but I can't find it. I can't find the company she worked for, so it doesn't seem like this right." She's using that as saying they're trying to find out where I work, as if it's to like dox her in
Dox
some
her or
evil
something
way.
like that,
But
yeah.
it's just to verify her credentials.
yeah.
that kind
If
of
you don't
stuff.
want people to do that, don't mention those things. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, there's that people were going after Destiny saying he doxed that Mike from PA guy. He's like, the dude's name is Mike
Like
from PA.
yeah.
He tells everybody he's a lawyer and he tells everybody he ran for office in his town, it's not going to be that difficult to find this guy.
Yeah,
Like, that's not, that's not doxing him. That's him. That's his
People-
information already out there.
Like,
Well-
people look for each other online sometimes. Like, does she think that doesn't happen and you only have to be a private investigator in order to search or look people up?
But it's like if you're going around saying you're a scientist from a pharmaceutical company, don't be upset when people are trying to verify that. That's not doxing. They're just trying to verify it.
What
And
really
if you're
made me
afraid
feel
of people finding out where you work and stuff like that, don't even mention what your work is. Why would you do that?
uncomfortable was one particular dude who claimed that he knew me personally. He implied that he used to work with me at my old job, and then he just started kind of like fabricating facts.
This is the part where I don't get the complaint. I get it. This guy's saying, "Oh yeah, I went to work with her and this, that, and I know all these things about her, contact me." But she's saying he's fabricating facts. So if he's fabricating facts, what's there to be afraid of? It's a guy who's lying about knowing you, like doesn't really have any information on you.
Yeah.
So he can't really dox you since he doesn't know anything about you and he's just making things up. So anybody contacting him to get your dox or whatever is getting bullshit information anyway. So who
Yeah.
cares? But she said, I deleted Twitch. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
About what I did and what our products were and what kind of company we had. He was saying that everybody hated me in the real world and thinks I was stupid, which is just like not a true statement. So it was just weird to see that, and it just made me feel really uncomfortable.
Which is not a true. Everybody hates me, which is not a true statement.
Oh,
Which is funny because how do you know if everybody hates you in real life or not? They're not telling you to your face. But in the end, yeah, that's not an issue then. If you think he's lying, what's the issue then? And if you came to me and said, there's a guy threatening to dox me, but everything he's saying about me, he says he knows me, but everything he's saying about me is a lie, I would tell you then what's the issue?
Yeah.
He's making things up then. He's not really trying to dox you.
Yeah.
There's no issue there. He's trolling.
DM'd him, which was the point where I got very concerned. So
But
this
she
is
was
where I
concerned.
sent this.
So was he saying lies or wasn't? Is he fabricating proofs or are those things true? And that's why you're concerned. Which is
Up to Destiny in hopes that he would take action and delete, the offending threads. And Destiny never responded to the request. And so I don't know if he ever took action on this pretty serious issue. And this is when I got COVID. I posted on my Twitter feed that I was throwing the kitchen sink at my COVID. And Destiny was really quick to jump on the laugh at BX for getting COVID train, despite me telling him in
why wouldn't he? That's all I'm saying. If you know his content, you know his stance on it, you've seen him make fun of everyone else, what expectation is there that he wasn't going to make fun of you on it? This is where I say she wants to be treated differently. She wants to be special is what it is. She wants to be special to Destiny. She wants to be special to Hunter. She wants to be special to everyone on the internet.
Yeah.
And not be treated like everyone else is treated. But if he would laugh at anyone else, why wouldn't he laugh at you?
It just makes it seem as if she doesn't she doesn't have social skills. She doesn't talk to people. She thinks that Destiny and Hunter are her good friends and need to go to bat for her now, which is just so
She doesn't know how to
deranged.
make reasonable expectations
Yeah.
about these situations. She expects things to be different, which makes me feel like people treat her this way in her life. People have treated her, spoiled her, treated her with kid gloves,
Yeah.
or treated her like a princess her whole life. And now that she's on the internet, she doesn't that's her expectation for
Yeah.
everyone to treat her that way, and they aren't. So it's a complaint now. Right?
And then she acts impulsively and
trouble
then gets confused at the reactions that she gets from
Yeah,
people.
and she's confused about. But there's really no confusion here. You can see where all this comes from.
getting vaccinated because of my health conditions.
Let's skip this because we get it.
She's sick.
Of
She's
my daughter.
injured.
And this is where I think I just kind of became fed up because my eyes were open to now, and I was seeing that this friendship was very one-sided.
But it wasn't a friendship.
wasn't a
You said
friendship.
you guys were friendly.
Yeah.
And then you called it friendship once.
That's the only
But most of the times you
self-awareness
said you
here.
were friendly with each other.
Yeah.
That's not a friendship. Being friendly with each other doesn't mean friendship.
If she just had a little bit of self-awareness here, she would realize that, yes,
That they're
she
not friends.
thought that this was
Yeah.
a friendship.
She thought it was a friendship. He didn't. You can clearly see from the DMs that it wasn't
It
really
was.
much of a friendship.
Not at all.
It's actually the DMs are really her talking a
Yeah.
lot and him giving one-word answers or one-sentence
She's
answers.
supposed to be
Oh yeah,
therapy
whatever.
for her. Do you
Which
girl.
seems more like she wanted it to be a friendship and
Yeah.
it never really got to that point.
I was also upset that he never helped out with this child predator situation with Matt.
Yeah,
how he
we
just
get that, but
willfully
everybody's your cause isn't everyone's cause.
No.
That's gonna happen.
ignored a sex predator.
It's already
Love you, very friendly way, and yet here he is just
I
publicly
love you in a
smearing
very
me now
friendly
on
way.
Twitter every
When the only time she's shown us him saying "I love you" was not in a friendly way. It was more like a,
I
"Yeah, I
love
get
you,
it.
okay?
You want me to love you? Like
Yeah.
here it is.
Here's your hug.
Leave me alone."
You
Yeah.
got your hug. There you
including destroying other people's reputations for
But
his own
you destroyed somebody's reputation,
go. Yeah.
and you've been doing that. And you tried to do that with Hunter too, and now you're trying to do that with Destiny
self-serving purposes. And
for
his
your
attention
own
was
self-serving purposes. Exactly what she's saying is what she's doing.
also sending tons of haters at me from
Right,
every
and if
angle.
you
on
had a large audience, your audience would have gotten. He's not sending them to you. He's saying he's sending them. That's not what's happening. She's making the content.
Yeah.
They're coming at her because she's putting this out there,
Yeah.
not because he's sending. In fact, he's almost seems like he's ignored a lot of this, and sometimes will tweet about it, but not much. But in the end, she's the one asking for this. She
Yeah.
wants this.
Like, she titles this Fallout as if her and Destiny's her bestie. Destiny's her best friend. And she tells Destiny everything. All her problems, she goes to
she
Destiny.
does,
and
but
now,
he wasn't doing that bad.
yeah. And now she's lost her bestie now. She's calling it a Fallout. Like, that's
That's what I'm talking about, being
deranged.
how weird it is and how her perceptions are facts when
Yeah.
they're not. Yeah.
every platform. It really felt at the time like I was
Yeah, it
public
felt,
enemy
but is that
number
what it
one
is?
on the
Like,
internet.
but no, that was-
And again, I just had
nobody cares
enough.
about that.
I'm not his personal punching bag. So what I did was I went back into his DMs. I asked him not to mention me publicly anymore.
But
I
that, there's no
mentioned
expectation that he won't just because you asked them. If you don't want anything to do with them anymore, you could just block them and disappear, right? Hey, is it really that much to ask you to just leave me alone? It kind of feels like the last time I asked you to delete something from your Reddit, you may have gotten the clue that I get harassment from your fucking community, which has nothing to do with him. Do you not realize what kind of power you have on people? Can you please just not mention? But she knew this. She said she was a fan of him even at one point, right? So she knows this. She's
Yeah.
part of that community. She knows what that community's like. She knows all this shit. This is her playing victim to shit she should have expected. And then he said, I love you, but if I see medical misinfo across my timeline, I'm going to comment on it, LOL. Basically saying, you should have known that. Yeah, like, he's been doing that. Why would he have not done it to you? As she said, I'm sick, fuck off. Again, I'm sick, treat me like a princess,
like a
and with kid
princess.
gloves, because I'm sick, you know?
Yeah.
I'm literally vaxxed. Who cares? So what?
Who cares?
So what? What does that have to do with this? So that
And
means
he
he can't
doxing-
treat you a certain way? Like what? Your community literally tried to dox me. No, they didn't. Not from what you showed. Just leave me alone, please. Consider it going separate ways. Thanks. And he said, I just saw your tweet across my timeline. You're the one DMing me over the tweet. LOL. Like, yeah, you're the one DMing me. He's like, well, my computer doesn't dox or harass you, so there's the difference. And he said, cool. Okay. But if your community was big enough to dox and harass me and they did, I wouldn't be DMing you telling you, leave me alone, never
Yeah.
talk about me again. You know, he
And-
would handle that and be like, okay, I'll handle that.
And
No
she knows
problem.
people will call her out for inciting the same thing.
Yeah.
But she gives herself a pass because it's about calling out a predator
Yeah.
who she has no proof of being
She
a
has
predator.
now solid
But that's
proof.
the exception she gets.
Exactly.
Again.
situation, the Reddit troll that he never addressed. And I just told him that I wanted to be left
Trolls.
alone. I told him to fuck
And how does
off.
she know he never addressed it? She doesn't know that. He might have and just never told her about it, but that doesn't mean he didn't.
I told him his community sucks, and then I said see ya, and I blocked
Yeah,
him everywhere.
Fine. Well, there you go. This would be the best way to end the story, and I blocked them, and that's it.
Yeah.
But no,
But-
that's not
Twitter,
where it
everything.
goes. And in fact, she's going to blame something else on him that's her own fault. Again,
Everything. You think he'd get the hint at this
think
point that I
he'd
wouldn't
get
know?
the
Read
hint.
between the lines, Destiny.
She's the one not getting
Read
the hint.
between the lines.
She said, you think he'd get the hint, as in not to talk to her anymore. And she doesn't, and he doesn't talk to her again.
Nothing to do with him. But that didn't happen. Just a couple of days ago, Chrissy Mayer posted a tweet about her show Simpcast that I was in. A discussion about Destiny somehow followed with a conversation occurring between a couple
Which is
of
funny
DG
because a conversation with she was on it, right? And a conversation about Destiny came on. So she's not keeping her mouth shut about Destiny. I blocked him. I don't want anything to do with him. But she's still talking about him, and now she's gonna get mad that he talked about her on someone else's tweet that had nothing to do with her, right?
Yeah.
That she wasn't a part of.
years,
And she shouldn't have even seen,
17-year-old
because she blocked him
girl
on something
named
to do with
Allie
it.
Meets World. Allie made a
there's
post
the cat.
defending me from the DG
There's the
years,
naked cat.
and Destiny quote tweeted that. And Allie's post just said,
Yeah.
when
Who cares that he quotes you? It's not even a tweet from her. It's someone else talking about her. That she shouldn't even see or care about, because she doesn't care about him anymore. Blocked him, wants something to do with him.
And omniliberal trolls try to talk shit and demean accomplishments of a strong woman who is a champion level shooter, lol. And then she asked me about the championship that I won. Now, to me, this was just, I don't think this was a disparaging comment against Destiny. She was trying to stand up for me against
so?
people
And then he makes a joke. So
who are trying to say that I'm
why
not
do you care?
firearms.
You want nothing else to do with
Yeah.
it. Why do you care? But
She's-
instead, she takes this as an opportunity to start this up again. She's the one doing this. Remember, this happened with Hunter too, where Hunter was like, "I want nothing to do with you. I'm gonna block you," and she said she was blocking him,
Yeah.
and then she's the one who starts it up with him again
Right.
and says shit about him.
expert
And
that
then
I'm
bitches
not a
that he answers back and says and makes a video responding to something she said about him on Twitter after saying she wants nothing to do with him.
Like even Hunter
The
blocking
shooter-
her didn't help because she has these people, like she's the one that is getting people to look into everybody else if she doesn't have access to the account, because then screenshots of Hunter's thing is sent to her and she reacts to it, and it's like, man, I can't get myself away from, get me out of this place.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a weird expectation thing, because she's the one who said, "I don't want anything to do with you. I'm gonna block you."
yeah,
And she thinks that he said the same thing back, but he didn't. He
didn't.
didn't say, "I'm never gonna talk about you again. I want nothing to do with you." He didn't say that.
Yeah.
The expectation is on her to ignore everything about that he might bring up and to never look at him again.
yeah.
But instead, she does look at him again.
Which is like, she probably doesn't have any friends, because friends to her is support me even if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Support me even
Yeah,
if I'm
that's
wrong.
kind of
And
the
that's,
personality.
yeah, that's not being a friend.
If you want nothing to do with him, why are you making this video? Why are you replying to a comment that you shouldn't even be looking at?
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you want nothing to do with them. This should be 100% ignored by your own reference. You know, that
References,
you're
yeah.
saying you're going to do.
and trying to say that
You're
I'm
the
lying
one
about
who's breaking the let's not communicate. You broke that.
Right.
all these things. So Destiny quote tweeted her and responded in force. Champion level shooter, level 4 alpha bodyguard, scientist with massive pharma
So
background.
what? You're not friends. You said you want nothing to do with them. Why is he now expected to not make fun of you? This is the same thing with Hunter, where she was like, "Hunter's not a nice guy." Hunter never said he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't cool. So
Yeah.
why is there an expectation that he won't make fun of you or insult you?
She's only
huh?
she's
Why?
only being nice to
You're a
Destiny.
public figure. You're allowed to be insulted and made fun of. And if someone's not your friend and you're on bad terms, then that should be the expectation.
Yeah.
Why should they have some loyalty to you to never... "Oh, I thought we made a deal that we weren't going to talk about each other." No, you said you weren't going to talk about me. I never made any deal.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, and she's so telling with her own actions, because she's got an agenda herself here. Like, she's only being nice and cordial to Destiny because she wants something from him.
Yeah.
But as soon as she doesn't get her way, and as soon as something is said that she doesn't like, she's now just slapped him in the face
Yeah.
and just taken a shit on his floor, basically, and said, "Well, fuck you." But, you know, there's such a thing as...
But
like,
she plays it like she's the victim.
yeah, like you
she's
can
not a victim.
you can fall out with people and keep things private still, but she's never done that probably.
That's what these all are. These are all booty cards. Someone who thinks they're a victim when they're not. You
Yeah.
look at these and you're like, you're not a victim of any of this.
And then
You're
you
just-
talk
just
shit
a
and
big
expect
booty
people
card.
to-
Firearm
Shit
instructor. I'm starting to wonder where she gets the time to do all these things. And as you could probably guess, the comments are full of people calling me a
Yeah,
liar.
but who
Well, I'm
cares? You don't want anything to do with them or that community, so who cares if they're calling you a liar?
Like,
You're the one jumping into this. You want their attention. You can't stay away from their attention. You said you were going to stay away from their attention, and you can't.
like
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Someone else, one of your friends, you block them, but your friends are also seeing it and retweeting it. So why don't you block your friends that retweet that so you don't see that either?
Yeah.
Instead, or ignore it. But instead, you fall into the same traps again.
exactly.
This is not Dunning Creek. This is what do you call that? Like just like he said, a psychosis. It's a repetitive behavior.
Yeah.
There's a problem here. She keeps throwing herself into the drama,
Mm-hmm.
saying that she's the victim of the drama, but she
Yeah.
keeps throwing herself
Throwing
at it.
again.
It's the same thing with that Anna chick,
Yeah.
where they
yeah.
kept making deals to not talk to each other again. But then by that night, she's already streaming talking about Destiny, right?
Like if
she
if
can't
you're
stay
about to-
tell you.
like you can't validate yourself to everybody, especially not to the internet.
No.
That isn't like.
Oh, you're in the wrong
you're
place
just
if you're
going to be
looking for
defeated.
validation
Like
on the internet. You're
yeah.
in the wrong place.
this is why if you're just wanting to be yourself and it's a little different than the norm, like just do that and don't make a big speculation about people pointing the finger. You're like, what the fuck are you? What is this? Like,
Yeah.
what are those? Like my fucking life. Just
Yeah.
leave it alone. That's who I am.
This just boiled my blood. I'd had enough
Yeah,
of
she admits
people
it there. It just spoils my blood. So her issue is there's people on the internet that don't like her. That's it.
Exactly.
Get used to it.
So what?
You're
That's
never going to have
everybody.
everyone on the internet like you, or
This is-
believe you, or trust you, or be your friend. It's just not going to happen. Get over it.
This is why I've never seen
people
anything
like-
other than this stuff that she talks about, because she's trying to validate all of her bullshit to everybody, and it's totally taken away from whatever the original content was of this woman's channel, because
Yeah.
I do not know what it is. I don't know if it's that she put up her shooting videos, video games, makeup. I don't know. I've only seen her address this drama. That's it.
Yeah, totally ridiculous. It really is. Pay attention.
constantly
to me.
trying to discredit me online because of
Who
Destiny. They were
cares if
acting
people are trying to discredit you online? If you're confident in your accreditations, then you shouldn't care that there's people trying to discredit you online, because they can't discredit you.
Exactly.
accusations that I was lying about having a college degree, lying about
Who
my
cares?
science
All of
background.
this is who cares. I'm gonna have to skip that. Okay, we've been doing this
These
too
things
long.
are actually pretty easy to prove.
Okay, if they're easy to prove, then what's the
Prompted
problem?
him on Twitter to respond to why he had never helped us gain exposure
So
with the
again,
child.
another complaint where she's still again bothering Destiny and complaining to him about, why didn't you care about the cause that I care about? You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't
Predator,
care. Get over
but
it.
he did not. I used to have respect for Destiny.
Yeah,
I used to
he
watch
doesn't care if you have
controversy
respect for
and
him.
net him the
Nobody
most.
cares.
The same child
it's funny
predator,
because there's an
Mad
opposite thing, but this is a lot like that non-compete guy,
Yeah.
where he had that discussion that he wanted to have with Destiny that
Mm-hmm.
turned into a debate. He didn't like that, so what did he do right after that? Made a video dissing on Destiny, saying, "I used to be a fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
We used to see him on our side, but he's not on our side. He's
Yeah.
our enemy,
He's our
actually."
enemy
And
now.
this and that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of crybabies who had an experience with Destiny, who they were probably fans of and liked,
Mm-hmm.
and thought they were, you know how they say, like, don't meet your heroes, and they'll have an experience with him and they think it's going to go great. I'm going to get to talk
Yeah.
to Destiny. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't go the way they want it to go. So then they flip completely and they're
Yeah.
like, this guy's an asshole. He's terrible.
Rocket, who goes by Raiden's TCG on Twitter,
This is the
frequently
same. So she's
stuff
doing the same thing
after
that she
you
did with
ignore
Hunter,
our-
where this Rain Plasma guy is a fan of Hunters. He's also a fan of Destiny's,
Mm-hmm.
and this now means they're colluding about her together.
Yeah.
All of them are just
It's so
conspiring
ridiculous.
about
Why
her
he
together.
doesn't stop this guy from retweeting him? 'Cause who cares if he's retweeting him?
Yeah.
What does that matter?
done no real harm to me except trying and failing.
See what she says. in the intro.
Now that I have made this video and have also left Twitch, I can say with absolute certainty that I will no longer talk about Destiny
I
or
bet that's
his
not
I
true.
community.
But we'll
doubt
I
it.
see.
won't engage
Doubt
with
Let's
it.
him
see.
in
Let's see. Already, wait. She's
Yeah.
already lying here. She says, I won't watch. Listen to this.
DMs. I will ignore his trolls in chat. I'll ignore the trolls in these
I'll
comments.
ignore
No.
the trolls in this comments. Not true. We can scroll down right now and see she's replied to some. She's left something there. But I saw earlier. Oops. I saw earlier she replied to some here. But she's like, well, maybe not completely, but.
Mine was
Oh, here
one
we
of
go.
the
Look,
first
I
ones.
honestly don't know where it is, and neither does my mom, LMS. So she's already replying to somebody who's saying, why don't you show the degree? There was another one here. I think she's deleted that too, but there was one that was saying, are you deleting comments? And she's like, yeah, I delete misinformation or something.
Yeah.
So she does care, and she's going through the comments and deleting comments, replying to people as you can see. So it's not true. She's already broke that. So I promise you, she's gonna talk about Destiny again.
Yeah.
And this is gonna come up.
I'll ignore the trolls on Reddit and YouTube and
Well,
Twitter
you
and
know, because
Instagram.
it seems like you haven't so far, and your main complaint has been about them when you should have been
because
ignoring
I'm
them from the
simply
beginning.
too busy to reply
She's
to
not
people
too
like
busy.
that.
Too
Because
busy to
I-
reply about people anymore. She should have been that way from the beginning. It's weird that she hasn't been.
Like, she puts this video up, I put my comment, and in a matter of seconds, she replies. I don't even expect her to reply to me, but she accuses me of being her harasser.
Yeah, and
the
she
first
accuses you of
thing,
being her harasser,
insists
which
on it.
already shows that all these sock accounts that she thinks is him might not be him.
Exactly.
It shows that she might have a bias into thinking that any account she doesn't know that shows up and questions what her narrative, she automatically thinks is him in a sock account. So how do we know that he's actually doing that when she says that? She calls
But
him his
most
harasser. How do we know that
importantly,
she's
I'd like to
literally
say-
harassing her? It could be just other people and she thinks it's him.
Thank you to all of my
All right,
supporters.
I think
Thank you so
that's about it. And we've been doing this for a while, so I think like 3 hours or
Oh
something.
my goodness. Didn't
So-
expect it to be that long.
Yeah, on a 30-minute video. So we got a lot to say. But all right, thanks for watching. Anybody who's still around, and this shit's funny. We'll see if this continues. We'll do another one on her
Yeah.
again if she